January 14, 2025 special magistrate proceedings for the city of Daytona Beach. At the outset, I've reviewed and approved the minutes of our November 11, 2024 meeting. Do we have any announcements before I proceed into this morning's agenda?
Yes, sir. We have a couple compliance. Page 3.
Page what now?
3.
Okay.
Case number 8, SMG 01-25-09, 236 North Frederick Avenue, compliance 1325. Page 6.
Page 3, case 8. Compliance.
Page 6. Case number 18, SMG 01-25-20, 236 North Peninsula Drive. It's compliance 11325. That's it.
Very good. Will those representatives for the city of Daytona Beach who will be testifying at this morning's proceedings please stand and be sworn?
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth? Thank you.
All right, we need to take a couple cases out of order. So we're going to start with case number 34. S&O Investment USA LLC. We have a number of people here. Gentlemen, if you would state your names and be sworn by our secretary.
Steve Iturriaga.
Sir, state your name in the microphone.
Steve Cicery.
Raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, did you say Steve Cicery?
Cicery, Cecere.
And your name again?
Steve Iturriaga.
Iturriaga?
Iturriaga.
Iturriaga. All right. Continued from the October hearing, continued for progress report and the determination of a compliance study. So who wants to go first? Who's got progress to report?
I can speak to that. After the last hearing that we were here in October, I immediately submitted my plans to 4 different contractors to get a contractor on board to move forward with this project. That process took a lot longer than I anticipated, but I'm happy to say that I've got a contractor, and we've submitted for permitting. There are some questions back from the city of Daytona concerning this submittal, and we're working through those comments as we speak. And I've got my contractor here that can further explain.
Yeah, they're basically requesting about 15 documents, anywhere from, just the basic plans to load calc, surveys, trust engineering. Takes a little time to get all those from the different contractors. I've got most of them. I'm lacking maybe 3 or 4, but I should have them, I'd say, within the next 20, 30 days to complete the submittal for the permit.
What was the work that was being done to begin with? Interior renovations?
We're basically tearing down that right side of the building. It's a completely new rebuild. The lower portion you see on the right side is being demolished completely down to the ground and then rebuilt from the ground up.
Okay. All right.
Just for clarification, just from what the contractor said, the obtaining a permit won't be the completion of the project for us. The completion is once it's
Approved.
Yes.
Yes.
Once we get to the end, then we're to the end.
Are we talking about once we get the permit approved or once we get the building
No,
built?
once you get the permit approved.
Okay,
We'll-
very
we'll
good.
cover the permit requirements. I don't know about when we said building approved. Someone have to answer that. They'll need from the staff. Do you need a building approval on this, or just like I'm sorry?
typically it's going to be once the final permits are finalized and approved.
You know, I can approve them at final, that's what I was
I
saying.
understand.
So once he gets his permit approved, he goes about his business and he's done with us. Is that what I understand you
That's what
saying?
I'm saying.
That's what I'm understanding.
Very good.
Okay, Mr. Inspector, did you want to be heard? I guess we're trying to guesstimate a compliance state,
Correct.
and we're in administrative land right now.
Right. So, like I said, compliance, whatever the compliance date, how long you guys think before you will actually have all this completed?
How long they take once I submit everything, but I imagine not very long. I would anticipate I'll have all the documents requested submitted within the next 30 days. Hopefully sooner, but I'd rather
No
give
work's
my,
going to happen until this permit's approved anyway.
correct.
So we give him 60 days?
That's fine.
60 days?
That's fine.
Great.
We need a, progress.
Yeah, progress report would be good. 60 days.
What's the progress report we're looking for? Permit or no permit?
Well, the permit should be, he already submitted the permit. Just waiting, like I said, on the things that he have to turn in order to get that permit.
All right, well, then I'm going to order the respondent to be in compliance 60 days or by March 5, 2025, or be returned to the special magistrate for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day thereafter. I'm also going to order that I get a progress report at our February 11, 2025 meeting. If it's a matter of just conveying to the inspector what progress has been made, you don't have to attend. I'll defer to you, can or can't, whatever you want to do.
That's fine,
Because
thank you.
it sounds like we're just going to try to get a status report regarding the permit as it stands over there with the folks that are reviewing it. So our inspector's more than capable of conveying all that.
Right.
So I'll leave that to you. So we're going to put in a 60-day compliance date. That's March 5th. Progress report at our February 11th meeting. Your attendance is optional.
All right,
Good luck
that's
to you.
fine, thank you.
Good luck.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Okay, we now are going to proceed to case 44. That is RE Equity Investment Group LLC and JJ Equity LLC. Is there anyone here for the respondent? Not seeing a respondent. What say the city?
Mark Jones, Field Supervisor with the City of Daytona Beach. My credentials are on file. This respondent was first notified on July 7th, 2023. Since last hearing on October 8th, 2024, I have had contact from the property owners. This project has stalled. Plans were returned for correction on September 16th, 2024, due to many changes from the approved plans. There were architectural, structural, MEP, and site plan revisions that they had to submit. The last building department inspection was July 31st, 2024. At my last inspection on January 6th, 2025, the property was in non-compliance. There was a lot of trash and debris throughout the property. Staff is recommending a fine of $200 a day with a cap of $20,000.
Okay, what's happened here? Why is everything stalled?
When I talked with them, they said it was due to plan that they had gone beyond the scope of work for of the approved plans. They had encroached out into where the site on the back. They had changed some of the mechanical drawings or mechanical installation from what the drawings were. There were structural issues from the building department when they did their last inspection. They stated they're waiting for the plan revisions, but they're not even maintaining the property at this time.
Waiting on plan revision. Why is there any need?
Because they did work beyond what the approved scope of work was on their approved plans.
Layman's language, from your viewpoint, what is it they're trying to do that's above and beyond plans as we understood?
I don't know the exact extent. I know they built on the back of the building, they built an addition beyond where they were allowed to build per their site requirements. You can see that addition they put on the back there.
Is that
where
the
the
thing with
porch
the wooden
is.
fence on top?
Yes, that's a
That's an
porch and a
addition that wasn't on the
stairwell.
plans?
It was added to and then extended beyond what their approved footprint was. I do not know the extent of the mechanical changes.
All right.
Yeah.
If you would please state your name and be sworn.
My name is Joaquin Brito. Sorry, I'm late. Joaquin Brito.
QU.
Brito, last name.
Raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you.
I was just asking our inspector why this project seems to have stalled, and I'm being told that apparently you went beyond the approved plans, or beyond the scope of the approved plans, and that as a result, you now find yourself back dealing with the permitting department.
So
So
what
why
it
don't you
was,
tell me what's going on?
Mr. Felcher, before we do that, if I know he probably did this before, and it's been a little bit of time ago. So what's Mr. Brittle's relationship to the?
I'm owner and contractor.
Okay.
What's going on?
So we was doing working on the building, and as we go on, the inspector, Mr. Jorgen, said that the stairs in the back went about 2 feet more a boundary line, but that line that we took 2 more feet of the stair belongs to us, but he said that have to go back to zoning. So we had to revise the plan, and also there was in the second floor all the way the third floor, there was other stuff that he wanted us to revise because it said the walls were not as the plans.
Who is this inspector you're talking about?
Mr. Jorgen, he's with the building department.
Who's
With the
Mr.
city of Daytona Beach.
and what is he?
He is a building inspector. He's the one.
Okay,
that
you're a
comes
building inspector. Is he here?
up- No.
Okay, well, I'm just trying to understand where he fits in. You folks are who I'm accustomed to dealing
Yeah,
with.
well, he is who would go out and inspect the work as to compliance with the plans. He is what is a building inspector with permits and licensing.
Okay.
Also plans examiner?
He is not a plans examiner, he is a building inspector.
All right.
All right, so he's checking for compliance with the plans.
Correct,
He finds these guys went 2 feet a lot further than they should have.
correct,
Now he's got questions as to whether that creates zoning implications.
correct.
All right, you were talking about something else that cropped up?
Yeah, and then he went upstairs and he said, well, this wall is also about 6 inches more, and it's just about things that they said the plan didn't match a wall or an outlet and things like that I'm like, okay. So he was like, you know what, you need to revise the plan. But when you revise the plan and the zoning, that has to go back to my architect, and it was close to holidays. Okay,
Well, that was my next question. When did all this crop up?
about going to about November. So my architect, you know what, you have to go back to my electrical engineer, because when you move a wall, that wall has plumbing, that has to go back to everybody. And it's holidays. My engineers are not going to be working
I understand.
into January.
And this is because this wall was 6 inches away from where the plan said it
Right.
should be?
Right. And then there was 2 stairs that was supposed to be the staircase was supposed to be a foot more from where the original were, and I was trying to explain, at that point, even if I try to explain, hey, you know what, when you build a plan, one thing is when you see it in dry, and then another thing is when you're trying to put it together, you might not catch the beam, or you might
I
say, like,
understand.
you know what, I want the plan revised. So we send it to my architect. My architect went in and, he's revising the plans. Now he's 90% done with the plans. He said we should have something by this week or next week. And then that's supposed to go back to the building department. And I don't know how long would they take. Last time I revised the plan.
So what's the status of construction in the interim?
I'm practically just need to put in the kitchen and the toilet. As the only thing that is not being done because he's told me to stop working on the 4th floor. And
I assume he told you to stop working
He's told me to stop working on the 4th floor
until these revisions were
until
done.
the revision was
You
done.
sent it to your architect.
Yes.
Your architect's almost done.
Yes.
You're getting ready to submit the plan revisions.
Yes.
All right, so he's the one that put the stop work order on there.
Well, he didn't put a stop work order.
All right,
told me not
he's the
to
one that
work.
told you to stop work.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, keep going.
And then we put in the plan. We are finished. The architects finished the plan, Mr. Robinson, which is well known in Daytona.
I know who he is, keep going.
Yeah, so he's finishing the plans. He's about 90% done. We're waiting on the plans to come in. Meanwhile, when you see all this garbage has been picked up because the thing is, when the hurricane came, okay, we got a lot of illegal dumping in the area. All that area was flooded, and then when Mr. Mark called me. and told me-
Okay, let's fast forward. When do we expect to have your plan revisions finalized and submitted?
Well, the architect told me that in about 2 weeks, 3 weeks, he will
Okay.
have the plans finished.
And then you're waiting on the city of Daytona Beach to tell you when
It
you
take
can
as much
resume.
as 3 or 4 months to approve my plan.
Well, let's not horrify it, let's just kind of
I'm
work.
just letting you know what they did to me.
I've
last
been
time.
here for a while, I think I understand how it works.
Okay.
So let's just talk about what we can control. So you're about to submit your plan revisions,
Yes.
and you should have that done in a couple of weeks?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and then after that, you're waiting on the city of Daytona Beach?
Yes, sir.
And you're telling me this mess has been cleaned up?
Yes, sir. I have pictures.
I'll take your word for it. Is the property been cleaned up?
Yes, sir.
Okay, because I'm hearing complaints about how it's not being kept clean and it's not being maintained.
Well, no. Outside, everything has been cleaned. All those things. So when the water hit, everything went all over. All my construction material that I had outside on the hurricane. And I couldn't do anything on it because I couldn't access the property
I understand.
with the hurricane. That's
All right,
when they took
let's
the
calm
pictures.
down. It looks to me like you're a good ways into this. It looks to me like you don't have too much further to go. I'm more interested in getting to the finish line.
Me too.
Okay, so, couple weeks, your plan revisions get submitted. So here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna reschedule this matter to our February 11, 2025 meeting for a progress report. All right? Hopefully by then, your plan should have been submitted. Maybe we'll know something from the city, maybe we won't. But at the same time, I'm gonna keep you on a short leash because I'm either gonna fine you, which is what they're asking for. I don't feel like doing that right now. I'm either gonna fine you or I'm gonna keep you on a short leash because I want to get this thing done. And I appreciate the effort that's been put forth to date because otherwise, that piece of property would be another one of our local toilets just sitting here festering in the city. So I appreciate the effort. At the same time, I got an inspector here who wants to get it done. I want to get it done. So all that having been said, get your plan revisions in. I'm expecting that to be done within a couple weeks. We'll have a progress report in a month to see where we stand, and then we'll go from there. And in the interim, keep the exterior maintained and clean. If the exterior is not maintained and cleaned, then he'll be returning you here for me to consider a fine of up to $1,000 per day thereafter. I understand the hurricane. I understand that. I'm not going to concern myself with that right now. So going forward, get your plans submitted, keep the exterior maintained, and then we'll meet on February 11th, and hopefully we'll have a clearer view as to what the end date may look like here.
I appreciate that. I have one more thing to say. So in the area that we're in, I do get a lot of illegal dumping. We always.
I heard you. I understand
we
that.
put cameras in. We get, we wake up one day, see a whole bunch of furniture. We're trying to always get
Take
rid
a
of it.
picture or
work
two,
on
and
it.
that's all you'll need.
Right. So
Take a picture or two, bring it here, show it to me, and that's all you'll need.
And other than that, if the building department hasn't stopped me 2 times like they have, I would have been finished this project.
Okay,
You know,
well,
it's like-
see, that's not very constructive. So why don't we just hide that one for the time being. Put that in your back pocket.
Well, is it true,
Save
sir?
that for another day.
It's the truth, sir. You know,
Okay, well, there's lots of truths here, but, we don't need to do all that. So let's get done with what we are pretty close to being done with here.
Okay.
10-4?
all right.
All right, good luck to you.
All right. Thank you, Mark.
Okay, case number 45, Masonova Daytona LLC. And I believe we have some Zoom attendees. And they still haven't put a piece of glass in front of you so that I know you're back there. All right, for all of you appearing by Zoom, if you are all the respondents who are appearing today, then you need to state your names and be sworn by our secretary.
Hello? Can you state your name? Everybody who's up there, can you please state your names? Mr. Posey? Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay. Who is Devra?
She's a property manager.
Okay, she's not, if she's not going to be speaking, correct?
I don't think so.
Okay. Who is the other gentleman? Is it Mr. Bogart?
No, that's Zach. Danny Parker and Zach Parker, contractors.
Okay. Go ahead.
All right, this matter is here for imposition of a fine pertaining to potholes and lighting improvements. This was continued for a progress report to establish a compliance date for all remaining violations. So let's hear from our inspector, who can tell us what it is we're here to talk about today.
Respondent was first notified of violation on October 16, 2023. At the last hearing on November 12, 2024, the property owner stated that the parking lighting had been repaired the night before the hearing and the potholes cold patched. I inspected the property on the 14th and the potholes had been repaired with cold patch. An application for the parking lot lighting was submitted on May 6, 2024 and returned for revisions on May 7, 2024. No revisions were submitted and no lighting permit was issued. I received an email from the property management company copying the owner stating the lights were repaired, not replaced, and no permits were needed. Review of the parking lot lighting on January 9th, 2025, and I have photos that show that one fixture is not working as it's missing a light bulb. I received another email on July 9th, 2024 from the management company to the owner stating a pre-construction meeting was set with the city, and permits will be pulled right after the pre-construction meeting. I called and talked to Mark Boyce, the deputy code official for permits and licensing, to confirm. Mark stated that no pre-construction meeting had been scheduled, as the construction plans had not even been submitted to the building department. This case opened on 2023, and there's really been no progress. People using the plaza are continually dealing with the potholes and the insufficient lighting. If you could show the photos of the lighting, that's what it looks as of the 12th. And you can even see the fixtures that do not have a light bulb even inserted in them. There's a clear picture. You can see there's the fixture, and you can see the sky through the fixture, as there's no bulb even installed in the fixture. Because of the nature of these violations, staff is recommending a fine of $500 a day with a cap of $70,000.
What say the respondents?
Danny?
Yeah, hi, Daniel Parker here. So we did the fixtures between the replaced the big fixture heads. There's one light that's not working out of the full. So I mean, really, the plans we have, we're adding more lighting to the plaza. I mean, that's why it's efficient lighting. One light not working. I think it's not normal, but it's not a place where it's going to be, a huge issue. If one light goes out with so many lights. The issue is that just there's not enough lighting in that plaza. The new set of plans show more lighting being added, so that was gone. And we've been trying to get a hearing with the department now since, I believe, since November. We've been waiting for a time slot to even have a conversation with them. The engineers have been working diligently trying to get through to them. Like we said, we took over the property a year ago with these plans already approved from the city. So we do have approved set of plans. The issue is that we need the pre-com, so now we'll see how we can proceed. This is two separate properties right now. And that's where we're at right there. It's just difficult for everybody. We need it done, you need it done, and we're just stuck. It's not like we're trying not to fix it. We do anything possible, but it's just spinning wheels.
There has been no building plans, site plans to be for construction submitted to the building department as of yesterday. They can't have a pre-construction meeting before the plans are submitted and reviewed, approved, and being ready for issuance. They may be talking about a meeting with the development group because through further investigation, their final site plan has not even been approved by the development group. There have been many revisions back and forth, but it hasn't been approved. But we're still dealing with the lighting issues.
I mean, listen, we'll fix the light that's broken there now, the one light, but I still think it's not going to help. I think we need to add more light. It's not awesome. To fix the one wall, it's not a problem. We're driving there right now. We'll be there in about an hour. I have guys already on site, so if we have to do more of the parking lot or fix one light, we'll gladly do that right now.
Anything else?
Danny, is there confusion? Cody from Newkirk Engineering has confirmed with us that the plans were approved by the city, but we need a pre-con in order to pull permits. Am I wrong?
That's what you told us, but I believe the inspector that he probably maybe we're getting lied to. I'm not sure. We need to investigate this to figure out what's going on because we're told one thing, but I believe them. The inspector should be telling. I mean, he knows probably more than them. Well, telling us more than them.
To me, doesn't make sense because the engineers are telling us that we're waiting for the pre-con we're just waiting for the pre-con to be set in order to pull the permits to do a whole parking lot. That's what we're being told twice a week, 3 times a week, we're being told the same thing. We're waiting for the pre-con in order to pull the permits. That's what we're being told. We're told everything was finished, finalized.
Everything was approved. That's correct.
We visit this every week, 3 times a week.
But the inspector just said that, he checked on it and nothing's approved, nothing's done. So, I mean, this is something, you gotta talk to the, the people on the property. It's already supposed to be done.
Is everyone done? I'm finding the respondent the sum of $500 per day commencing January 9, 2025. That fine will continue to accrue each day thereafter until the respondent is in compliance with my order of November 18, 2024, where the amount of the fine has reached the sum of $70,000. I suggest you guys drop everything, find your way over to City Hall, figure it out, and get it done. Good luck to you.
Mr. Kelly, just one clarification.
Just quick question. So what's it going for compliance? Talking about the one light bulb that's up, correct?
I suggest you guys come down to City Hall, meet with everyone you need to meet with, and ask all your questions there.
Just one clarification. You actually had a dual order. There was an order for getting these lights and potholes done, and that's what the...
That's what I'm finding the respondent for.
Right, and then we also have the rest of the project that still needs to be completed. So we still have an open case as it relates to ultimate compliance.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, so I just wanted to make sure that was cleared out on that.
This is for failure to be in compliance as to potholes and lighting improvements.
And whenever they get that completed and approved by the inspector, that fine will stop running, but we'll still be working towards getting the total job complete.
Sir, good luck. Case number 1. Fiesta LLC. Anyone here for the respondent?
Yes.
Yes, sir, if you would. Yes, sir, if you would please state your name.
Diego Handel, 444 South Beach Street, Daytona Beach, 32114.
Raise your right hand. Swear affirm the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
And your affiliation with Fiesta LLC?
Managing member, sole owner.
Okay. Do you agree this violation existed or occurred as stated in the notice of violation?
I do.
All right, I find the respondent in non-compliance. Madam Inspector, what's necessary for the respondent to come into compliance?
There's some damaged and rotting wood along the walkways and decking. He needs to obtain an issued permit if needed to make those repairs and contact me for compliance.
And how long would you estimate would reasonably be required for the respondent to come into compliance?
I haven't had any contact with Mr. Handel, so it would depend on if he's how long the permitting issued permit is going to take for him to get that done, if he's going to be required to have a contractor do the work. Mm-hmm.
So coming into compliance means replacing the rotten wood.
Our
Exterior stairs.
Yes, sir. Our recommendation is the next cutoff.
Okay.
If I may respond, Your Honor.
All right. So the city thinks you ought to be able to be in compliance by the next cutoff. What say the respondent to that?
We are on the National Register of Historic Places. This is the oldest standing structure, one of the two main buildings in Daytona. So we have to comply with the city code and also the National Register code to maintain our status. So it takes a little bit longer to do that. We are right now in the middle of a lot of repairs, some of which predated the hurricane, and the last hurricane was quite devastating to the oldest building. So we have a lot of work that's being done right now. We're not operating right now. We're not renting out rooms. We're fixing everything. So the walkway which is outside, is not being used by anyone. There's nobody there other than the owners. That's my son and I. We're the only ones that are there working basically on correcting everything. So, knowing how long it takes to get anything done with contractors that are also no restoration and that kind of work, I'd say probably 60 days is more likely for that to happen, because
What's going to happen in 60 days? What do you expect to accomplish within 60 days?
Well, we're finalizing now, actually selecting a GC. We've been interviewing people for weeks now. There's a lot of work that needs to be done to both buildings. We're working with FEMA as well to try to, cover some of the expenses. Insurance is really not going to be paying much, if anything. We've made claims. We've already fixed the plumbing.
Okay, well, you're way beyond the scope of this notice of violation. So as far as the notice of violation, does it not sound as though he's way beyond the scope of this notice of violation?
Yes, sir, it does. And I've had no contact at all from the property owner.
All right, well, my point is, if you are going to keep the property unoccupied until you complete all your renovations, that's one thing. I can consider that. Otherwise, the only thing you're here for right now is a notice of violation regarding these particular, is it exterior stairs and walkway?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so where do the exterior stairs and walkway fit in as far as your overall renovation plan is concerned?
Once again, because it is, in order to maintain the historic status, we have to do it a certain way. So
I understand.
Not only functional, but also appearance and so on. So it takes a little bit longer. That's why I think 30 days, given the fact that we're doing a lot of other work on the property, and we haven't even selected a GC yet.
Okay, I don't know that you're understanding what I'm trying to say here. So you think within 60 days you'd have it done?
Yes.
Okay, well, that's fine. I just didn't know where this piece fit in with your overall renovation plans.
Right.
Whatever those may be.
I think, Mr. Vickers, if I could just add, and I've never said this, Anthony Jackson, attorney for the city, just for the record. I believe he still would need a business tax receipt before he starts operating, and so even though he didn't get those individualized things cited, they'll have to be taken care of before he gets the business tax receipt. I believe that's the circumstance. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Yeah. Okay, that's fine. Well, we can get that, this week. That's not a problem.
Okay, well, okay, then I will order the respondent to come into compliance by March 5, 2025, or be returned, that's approximately 60 days down the road, or be returned to the special magistrate for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day thereafter. I'm sure I don't need to remind you, but I will anyway. If you come up short on that, let the inspector know the circumstances, and good luck to you.
Thank you.
Okay, we need to go out of order one more time to case number 46, Hagden International College Incorporated. Okay, is there anyone here for the respondent? Matters here for the imposition of a fine. Not seeing a respondent, what say the city?
Respondent was first notified of the violation on August 18th, 2023. Since last hearing, there has been no contact from the contractor or the owner. The building department did pass wall reinforcement back on December 20th, 2024. At last inspection on January 6, 2025, the property is still in non-compliance. As you can see, all the soffit that needs to be repaired has not happened yet. Staff is requesting a fine of $200 per day with a cap of $20,000.
Is this the building where the contractor was gonna finish off the cold, dark shell?
Yes, months
Is
ago.
that this one?
Yes.
So what's happened now? Everybody stopped?
There was no one on site when I visited back in January 6th, and I've had no contact from the contractor, so I'm not sure what's going on.
Okay. Then, noting the absence of the respondent, based upon the photographs presented and the testimony of our inspector, I'm going to fine the respondent the sum of $200 per day commencing January 9, 2025. And that fine will continue to accrue each day thereafter until the property is in compliance or the amount of the fine has reached the sum of $20,000. Very good.
Thank you.
Right. Case number 2. Junker Louisa. Is anyone here for the respondent? Okay.
Yes, sir, I am.
Yes, sir, if you would please state your name and be sworn, and we need to see you.
Caesar Junker.
Okay,
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Caesar Junker.
Whole truth, nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Okay. Who is Junker Louisa?
My mother.
Right, and she's passed away?
Correct.
And if I can just get clarification, do we have the name correct? Is it Junker Louisa or Louisa Junker?
The other way, Louisa Junker.
Okay.
All right. Okay, do you agree this violation existed or occurred as stated in the notice of violation?
Yes, sir.
All right, I find the respondent non-compliance. Mr. Inspector, what do we need to do to come into compliance?
Good morning, John Stinson, Code Inspector with the City. My qualifications are on file. I have been in contact with Mr. Junker, and he has been out there. The only thing left for him to do is to address the dilapidated fencing and the damaged vent stack on the side of the building.
And how much time do you think it would take to do that?
He should be able to get this done by the next cutoff.
Next cutoff's February 5, 2025. All right. Mr. Junker, the inspector seems to think you ought to be able to have this wrapped up by February 5th. What say you to that?
Yes, sir. I believe I have it done in a couple days, to be honest with you, sir.
Okay.
We've been working for the last week trying to get everything done, and he's seen all the progress I've made, so I believe we'll be able to finish this.
Very good. Then I'll order the respondent to come into compliance by February 5, 2025, or be returned to the special magistrate for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day thereafter. Please keep in mind, once the work is done, don't forget to call the inspector out there for a final inspection.
I will send him emails with pictures.
Very good. You have a good day.
Thank you, sir.
Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Case number 3, EM Realty of Florida, LLC. Anyone here for the respondent? Good morning. If you would please state your name and be sworn.
My name is Hendrik Emanuels, Hendrik.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
I'm sorry.
You can pull that down.
Put it down. All
There you
right.
go.
Better? Better? All right. Hendrik. Last name Emanuels, Emanuels. And I'm the market manager for
Sorry,
EYM.
say your first name again.
Hendrik.
Raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Emanuels, do you agree this violation existed or occurred as stated in the notice of violation?
Yes, sir.
I find the respondent non-compliance. Mr. Inspector, how much time should reasonably be required for the respondent to come into compliance?
By the March cutoff.
March cutoff. All right, the March cutoff is March 5, 2025. What say Mr. Emanuels to that?
Yes. We're actually working with the architect on submitting the plans. I don't know if he got in contact with the inspector.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. And right now working with the GC, everything that it's needed to be completed, it's gonna be done during the remodel. So we're planning on doing a full remodel, including parking lot, stucco outside, and inside as well.
And when do you expect to have all that done?
We'll say the next maybe 60 days. We're working on different DCs and the paving company to complete the project. We've been in conference calls the last month or so. But we should get everything situated by March.
All
I would
right,
say
and
60
the
days.
violations I'm looking at are dilapidated parking lot,
Mhm.
stucco on the exterior walls, broken window, dilapidated door, peeling paint, exposed wiring. So we're gonna mop all that up?
Yes, sir.
And you
Everything
think-
is going to be covered.
And you think 60 days will do it?
Yes, sir.
60 days around here ends up being March 5, 2025. What say you to that?
Yeah, I mean, we should be all completed.
Come up short, call your inspector, let them
Will
know
do.
what's going on if you run into any problems along the way. All right,
Yes,
I'll
sir.
order the respondent to be in compliance by March 5, 2025, or be returned to the special magistrate for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day thereafter.
Thank
Good
you so
luck
much.
to you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Case number 4, Martha M. Bailey.
Good morning.
Good morning. If you would please state your name and be sworn.
Jed Bailey, J-E-D. And
Do you swear affirm the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Your affiliation with Martha Bailey.
Her son.
You have authority to speak on her behalf.
I do.
Very good. You agree this violation existed or occurred as stated in the notice of violation?
Yes, sir.
I find the respondent non-compliance. Mr. Inspector, how much time should reasonably be required for the respondent to come into compliance?
By the next cutoff.
Next cutoff would be February 5, 2025. What say Mr. Bailey to that?
I would hope to be able to do that. We'll make every effort to make that happen.
Hope to be able. Make every effort.
Yes, sir.
A lot of wishes and prayers in there.
Aye, sir.
How close is it to being rock solid?
We've made progress. I guess the only question I had was on the repairs to the ceiling, if that required a general contractor, or if we were able to do that work ourselves, or.
Okay. Well, I'm pretty sure Mr. Stenson will answer whatever questions you may have. Is this structure occupied at present?
No, sir.
If you keep it unoccupied, I'll give you 60 days.
The tenant has passed away, and so it's unoccupied.
All right, then I'll tell you what, I'm going to order you be in compliance by March 5, 2025, and that the property is not to be rented, occupied, or otherwise utilized until it's in compliance.
Understood.
Very good?
Very good.
And if you have any questions, Mr. Stenson will be happy to answer them for you.
Thank you, sir.
Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Pelta Ray Ventures, LLC.
Good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen. If you would state your names and be sworn by our secretary.
Luis Quintero,
Spell your last name.
Quintero. Brian Romaine.
Ryan what?
Romaine.
Raise your hand. Do you swear affirm the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Okay, what's y'all's affiliation with Pelta Ray Ventures, LLC?
Hotel chief engineer. I manage the maintenance department. I'm general manager.
So you got authority to speak on their behalf.
Yes, sir.
You all agree this violation existed or occurred as stated in the notice of violation?
Yes, sir.
And we find the respondent in non-compliance. Mr. Inspector, how much time should reasonably be required for the respondents to come into compliance?
By next cutoff?
Next cutoff is February 5, 2025. What say ye all to that?
Yes, sir. That'll work.
That'll work. All right. Then I will order the respondent to be in compliance by February 5, 2025, or be returned to the special magistrate for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day thereafter. Can I see that photograph again, please, of the wall that you just had up there?
That was not the property.
That was not the property. Okay, never mind then. All right, damaged wall. What wall?
What
are we fixing?
We have an overflow parking lot across the street. Address for that lot is 1624 South Atlantic. The wall was knocked over by the hurricane and further damaged by a guest with his vehicle. So it's just a concrete wall that divides that lot from the backyards of the houses on the other side.
Gotcha. All right, good luck to you.
Thank you, sir.
Case number 6, 275 Ridgewood Avenue, LLC. Anyone here for the respondent? Not seeing a respondent, what say the city?
This case was a proactive case with faded paint. The case was opened on August 15th. Property was first notified on August 15th. And the property is still in non-compliance and is asked to be placed into compliance by next cutoff.
All right, noting the absence of the respondent, based upon the inspector's testimony, I find the respondent in non-compliance. In order the respondent to come into compliance by February 5, 2025, or be returned to the special magistrate for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day thereafter. Case number 7, Shafat and Carol M. Ahmed. Anyone here for the respondent? Not seeing a respondent, what say the city? We have a respondent.
My name is Shafat Ahmed.
It's Dr. Ahmed, is it not?
Yes, sir.
I think so. All right, if you would please be sworn by our secretary.
Raise your right hand. Do you swear affirm the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay, Dr. Ahmed, do you agree this violation existed or occurred as stated in the notice of violation?
Sir, I have been, and my wife have been sick, and we overwhelmed by our problems, health problems. And she had major spine surgery with weakness in her leg, numbness, tingling, and had to have emergency neurosurgical procedure at one of our local hospitals. So we have been completely taken over by these problems, not because of some, not ignoring the problem, but then the other problem is to find people. I tried 3 people in last week, and they come and you meet them at the office, and they say they are coming, and sometimes they give you figures and then don't show up.
All right, well, let's shift gears here. Mr. Inspector, what's the nature of the violations?
Good morning, Inspector Roosevelt Butler. Credentials on file with the City of Daytona Beach. As it pertains to 1121 Mason, this case was a citizen complaint case. A site inspection was conducted on August 1st, 2024, where it was determined the property had the following violations: outdoor storage, overgrown landscaping, dirt and grime, and boarded up windows. The property was notified on August the 13th, 2024. The property was to be in compliance on September the 13th, 2024. The last date of inspection was January the 8th, 2025. Result of my re-inspection was non-compliance. I've had contact with the property owner. Staff requests to find them non-compliance. Compliance by the March cutoff.
Okay. All right, well, as difficult as it may be, you're going to have to find somebody to attend.
Yes, sir. We are trying. Yesterday, we went and met. It's called. They are contractor, something their name. I will give the name to the code
I'll
officer.
take your word for it.
Yes, sir.
But my point is, we just-
And we are waiting to find out their numbers. We don't have that.
all right, well, based upon the testimony I've heard, as well as the photographs I've presented, I find the respondent in non-compliance, and I'm going to order the respondent to be in compliance by March 5, 2025, or be returned to the special magistrate for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day thereafter. So we're giving you till March
Oh, yes,
to
sir.
get it taken care of,
Yes.
and it just has to be done. I understand the difficulties sometimes folks encounter when it comes to finding good help. For the most part, this looks like maintenance more so than anything else.
And we got hit by Hurricane Matthew in 16, Irma in 17, Daniel in 19, and then 2 hurricanes, Ian and Nicole in 22, and 2 hurricanes, I think Renee and
get that
Milton,
information
Hurricane
from her.
Milton in 24, last year.
Okay.
So we have had damages from all of them.
I understand. So, get this taken care of, and if for some reason you're unable to get it done, get in touch with your inspector and let
Yes,
him know
sir.
what's going on.
Yes, sir. I
All
will.
right, good luck to you.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Thank you, sir.
This brings us to case 9, Ron and Ron Group 2 LLC. Is there anyone here for the respondent? Good morning.
Renee Richardson, 931 South Martin Luther King Boulevard, speaking on behalf of Ron and Ron Group. Sorry.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, what is your affiliation with Ron and Ron Group 2 LLC?
One of them is my ex-husband.
One of them is what?
An ex-husband.
Your
He's my
ex-husband?
ex-husband, yes.
One of them. Oh, one of the Rons.
One of the Rons.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Anyway, we good to go, counselor?
Yeah, I assume he's authorized him to speak since he's present.
Yes.
All right. Do you agree this violation existed or occurred as stated in the notice of violation?
Yes.
All right, Madam Inspector, how much time should reasonably be required for the respondent to come into compliance?
Next cutoff.
City seems to think you ought to have this taken care of by February 5th. What say you to that?
Can we have 60 days? We just want to ensure.
Well, you can ask. Now,
Yes.
why do you need 60 days?
Because
instead?
I've already got in contact with Ms. Kirk. We've done some of the legwork in contacting the contractor to get the permits reactivated or reopened so that they can come and do the final inspections for the different areas
Okay,
that
is the
didn't have.
building empty right now?
Yes, it's
And
been.
as long as you keep it unoccupied, I can give you 60 days.
Okay,
Until you're
that'll
back
be
in
perfect.
compliance.
That's fine. Thank you.
All right. I will order the respondent to be in compliance by March 5, 2025, or be returned to the special magistrate for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day thereafter, and the building is not to be occupied or otherwise utilized until such time as it is in compliance.
Got to
Back
find
you.
him in
Thank you.
non-compliance.
Pardon?
You didn't find him in non-compliance.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought she already acknowledged they were in non-compliance, so I
Yeah.
find the respondent in non-compliance.
Okay.
And order the respondent to be in compliance by March 5, 2025. You want me to go through the rest of it, or you got it?
Nope.
Very good. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
You the same Renee Richardson?
I am.
Very good. Then we don't have far to go.
Okay.
Case number 10, Renee Richardson. Since I already know who you are, you agree that this property was in non-compliance as stated in the notice of violation?
Yes.
I find the respondent in non-compliance. Madam Inspector, how much time should be required for Ms. Richardson to bring this property?
Next cutoff.
Next cutoff is February 5th, 2025. What say you to that?
No, we need longer than that. We have done some of the corrections, and we are working on the roof. We have contacted a roofing company. We have a few estimates, and I'm going to stay in contact with Ms. Kirk and moving forward to try to get the roof under compliance. I think that should be the last thing because we've been doing the other things that have been asked of us.
So when do we expect to have it done?
What's the extension, the time limit? Is it 60 days or 90 days?
It's
The length?
whatever I feel like.
Oh, okay. So can we would like to have actually 90 days. And that is because I'm working with the city, trying to get funds to help to do this.
This building occupied?
It is a business that is ran in the front of it, yes.
So the front of it?
It's a car wash, it's a business. So we have gotten one grant, and I'm working on trying to get additional funds for the roof. That part on that end is more so utilized, I guess the store part and the car wash is over on the other side and stuff, but the building is occupied. We're trying to get the roof done.
Occupied. What do you mean by occupied?
There is
Is there a business being operated in there?
yeah, it's a business being operated, but the equipment is housed on that side. The equipment for the car wash, the stuff for the car wash is in that where we have the rolling doors. So we've already contacted somebody about.
Are you telling me this building is more storage than anything else?
On that end, yes. On that end where the roof has to be done, what they're looking at, it has to be, that's more storage.
Do we have any life safety issues here?
No.
All right, well, I'll tell you what. Did I find him in noncompliance? Good. All right, well. All right, then we'll give you the 90 days. I'll give you 90 days. That means I expect you to be done. They
Okay.
ask.
Okay.
All right, then I will allow the respondent until April 2 of 2025 to be in compliance or be returned to the special magistrate for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day thereafter. Please keep the inspector posted as to the progress you make. From what I understand, the roof is probably going to be the more problematic part and probably toward the end of the project. So that having been said, good luck to you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Case number 11, Bat Development, LLC. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
You would please state your name and be sworn by our secretary.
I'm Timothy D. Hudson, Sr., owner of Bat Development, LLC.
You swear from the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you.
Your affiliation with Bat Development, LLC?
I'm the owner, sir.
Very good. Do you agree this violation existed or occurred as stated in the notice of violation?
Yes, sir, I do.
All right, I find the respondent in noncompliance. Madam Inspector, how much time should be required for the respondent to come into compliance?
Next cutoff.
Next cutoff is February 5th. What say you to that?
Your Honor, if I could get maybe perhaps 60 days. I was before you maybe 8 or 9 months ago with the property that abut this property, and I thought I had included that fence on the other fence permit that I was fined for that we cleared. I'm requesting perhaps 60 days because I need to find the survey, and if I don't have the survey, I'm going to need to have Sligo them get me a survey in order for me to pull the permit for that.
Sounds reasonable enough to me. I'll order the respondent to be in compliance by March 5, 2025, or be returned to the special magistrate for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day thereafter. Good luck to you.
Thank you very much.
Case number 12, Darren Ottman. Anyone here for the respondent? Not seeing a respondent, what say the city?
Okay. This is a field-generated case, dirt and grime on the interior surfaces of the doorway. First notification, 5/13/24. Compliance was due 6/13/24. Site visited the property January 10, 25. It's still in non-compliance. Staff's recommending a finding of non-compliance with compliance due by the next cutoff.
Noting the absence of the respondent, based upon the testimony of our inspector and the photographs presented, and the amount of time that has passed already on what would appear to be a relatively easy matter to correct, I find the respondent in non-compliance and order the respondent come into compliance by February 5, 2025, or be returned to the special magistrate for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day thereafter. Case number 13, GEA Seaside Investment Incorporated. Anyone here for the respondent? Not seeing a respondent, what say the city?
Good afternoon. Officer Clegg, my credentials are on file. This case was a field-generated case opened on September 9th of 2024 for dirt and grime on the walls. Missing foundation bricks, front gate is damaged. Handrails are missing and broken. It was first notice was posted on November 5th, with compliance due on December 5th of 2024. No contact with the owner. Reinspection done on January 13th. 2025 shows non-compliance. Staff's recommending a finding non-compliance with compliance by next cutoff.
Noting the absence of the respondent, based upon the testimony of our inspector and the photographs presented, I find the respondent in non-compliance and order the respondent to come into compliance by February 5, 2025, or be returned to the special magistrate for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day thereafter. Case number 14, GEA Seaside Investment Incorporated. Not seeing a respondent, what say the city?
232 North Peninsula, field-generated case opened on September 18th of 2024 for dirt and grime on the porch area and the side of the home. First notice was posted on November 5th of 2024 with compliance due on December 5th of 2024. No contact with the owner. Reinspection done January 13th of 2025 shows non-compliance. Violations still exist. Staff's recommending a fine in non-compliance with compliance due by next cutoff.
Mr. Couch, if I just get, that was number 14?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Number 14. That case right now is in mortgage foreclosure with a trial date set for 2/24. So we'd ask that we go to the March cutoff. We'll see what happens with the foreclosure action.
Sir. Noting the absence of the respondent, based upon the testimony of our inspector and the photographs presented, I find the respondent in non-compliance and order the respondent to come into compliance by March 5, 2025, or be returned to the special magistrate for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day thereafter. Case number 15, GEA Seaside Investment Incorporated. Anyone here for the respondent? Not seeing a respondent, what say the city?
319 North Peninsula is a field-generated case opened on September 18th of 2024.
I have 319 North Hollywood Avenue.
I'm sorry, yeah, 319 North Hollywood.
Okay.
Field-generated case opened on September 18th of 2024 for dirt and grime on the porch, and bricks were broken around the front of the home. First noticed was posted on November 5th of 2024. Compliance due on December 5th of 2024. No contact with the owner. Reinspection done January 13th of 2025. Non-compliance violations still exist. Staff's recommending a fine in non-compliance with compliance next cutoff.
And again, this is a similar situation. The mortgage foreclosure is scheduled for trial 2/27 of 25. So again, we'd ask for the March cutoff instead.
Noting the absence of the respondent, based upon the testimony of our inspector and the photographs presented, I find the respondent in non-compliance and order the respondent to come into compliance by March 5, 2025, or be returned to the special magistrate for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day thereafter. Case number 16, GEA Seaside Investments Incorporated. Not seeing a respondent, what say the city?
509 Harvey is a field-generated case opened up on September 18th of 2024 for boarded up windows. First notice was posted on November 5th with compliance due on December 5th of 2024. No contact with the owner. Reinspection done January 13th of 2025 shows non-compliance. Staff's recommending the finding of non-compliance with the compliance plan next cutoff.
Noting the absence of the respondent based upon the testimony of the inspector as well as the photographs presented, I find the respondent in non-compliance. In order the respondent to come into compliance by February 5, 2025, or be returned to the special magistrate for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day thereafter. Case number 17, GEA Seaside Investment Incorporated. Not seeing a respondent, what say the city?
23 and 25 South Peninsula is a field-generated case opened up on September 18th of 2024 for boarded up windows, no grass, soil erosion, peeling paint, damaged wall, and failure to maintain handrails. First notice was posted on November 5th of 2024 with compliance due in December 5th of 2024. No contact with the owner. Reinspection done January 13th of 2025. Shows non-compliance. Staff's recommended finding a non-compliance with a compliance due by next cutoff.
Noting the absence of the respondent based upon the testimony of our inspector and the photographs presented, I find the respondent in non-compliance. In order the respondent to come into compliance by February 5, 2025, or be returned to the special magistrate for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day thereafter. That brings us to case number 19, Janine M. Brown. Anyone here for the respondent? Not seeing a respondent, what say the city?
Morning, Inspector Bostwick, credentials on file with the city. All right, this case was field generated, opened on August 8th of 2024, overgrown vacant lot and outside storage. First notification was on August 15th, property was posted. Compliance was due by August 26th of 2024. Last day of reinspection was January 13th of 2025, resulting in non-compliance. I didn't make contact with the owner on January 13th. And she did start clearing the lot. Staff requests a finding of non-compliance with compliance due next cutoff.
Noting the absence of the respondent based upon our inspector's testimony and the photographs presented, I find the respondent in non-compliance and order the respondent to come into compliance by February 5, 2025, or be returned to the special magistrate for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day thereafter. Case number 20, Derek Smith. Anyone here for the respondent? Not seeing a respondent, what say the city?
This case was field generated, opened on August 27th of 2024, overgrown vacant lot, trash and debris. First notification was on September 4th of 2024, property was posted. Compliance was due by September 14th of 2024. The last day of reinspection was January 9th of 2025, result non-compliance. There's been no contact with the owner. Staff requests a finding of non-compliance with compliance due next cutoff.
Is that a cross?
No, it used to be, it's a mailbox post.
Okay. All right, noting the absence of the respondent based upon the testimony of our inspector, I find the respondent in non-compliance. In order the respondent come into compliance by February 5, 2025, or be returned to the special magistrate for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day thereafter. Case number 21, David Turek. Anyone here for the respondent? Not seeing a respondent, what say the city?
He's here.
I'm sorry? Yes, sir. If you would state your name and be sworn.
David Turk.
And do you swear affirm the testimony you're about to provide the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Mr. Turk, do you agree that this violation existed or occurred as stated in the notice of violation?
Yes, sir.
Find the respondent in non-compliance. Mr. Inspector, how much time should reasonably be required for Mr. Turk to come into compliance?
Next cutoff.
Next cutoff is February 5, 2025. What say Mr. Turk to that?
I asked for some additional time, 60 days at least. Unfortunately, a lot of moving parts to this. I applied for some grant money, which didn't come through Project 386. Didn't get any help from FEMA after the storm, and trying to get an attorney on board with me to figure out exactly what I'm going to do with the property. But unfortunately, I'm not employed at the moment, and my income is very limited. So I'm staying in that camper that was given to me through a program from Ron DeSantis, and I was under the impression that there was some type of temporary legislation that was passed until there was a solution to come up with where I'm going to relocate to or whatever to allow the camper to be put there. They came and placed it there through a program through the state, and there was a letter sent to me by them that says that there's some permission with the municipalities allowing that until, I don't know what time it expires, but.
Okay, Counselor, you know what he's talking about?
I do not know enough. I mean, I've heard something like that, at least a camping program. I mean, a trailer program or something, but I don't know anything about it. It would help us to see, and I don't know if he presented that at all, whatever letter or whatever reference he may be as to what leads him to believe that he would have the additional time without it.
Is this camper one of the vehicles parked on the vacant lot?
Yeah, you can say so. I mean, it's like dozens.
I'm seeing
of,
a lot of vehicles.
Exactly.
I didn't know the camper was included in there.
Yeah, the camper is included in there because that's a part of the vacant lot.
Okay. I just didn't know if his occupancy, the camper put it in a different category. Okay. All right, and then we have outside storage that has to be attended to.
Yes, sir.
We have weeds.
The weeds I've taken care of.
Weeds you've taken care of.
Yes, sir.
All right, and so what is the relief you've asked for? 60 days?
Yes, sir.
And what's going to happen in 60 days if I give it to you?
I'll be honest with you, I don't know, but I do
Other than
know.
you getting fined on day 61?
I don't want to give you an answer that's not going to be truthful. I'm doing the best that I can to try and come up with a solution. I've exhausted pretty much all the remedies I have. I'm financially down to $0. I don't know where the next meal's coming from right at the moment. So.
Are you the owner of 611 North Beach Street?
Yes.
And how many vehicles, in addition to the camper, are on the property?
As of today?
Yes, sir.
4.
All right. Had you already started removing them?
They're licensed vehicles. They're on the road.
So vacant lots. Looks like it's more than 4 vehicles, if you ask me.
But in any sense, the fact that it's a vacant lot means they can't, unless he.
Nothing can be on a vacant lot.
Yeah.
Sir, if I may add some additional context to the situation. So it's actually listed legally as 2 separate parcels. So the building on the left-hand side is one parcel.
The green
land.
building?
Yes, and the lot on the right side is a separate parcel. They're both owned by me, but there's some type of law or something on the books that says because that lot on the right side is considered quote-unquote vacant land, I'm not allowed to have anything on it. I'm not allowed to park on it. I'm not allowed to utilize it for anything because it's vacant land. I don't know.
Is there a fence between these 2 parcels?
No. There's one fence that surrounds the entire perimeter, and it's previously been used for...
What is the green building? I can't see the green building. What is it? What is it?
It's just a vacant concrete building.
Okay. What had it been used for in the past?
Previously, it was used by Mr. John Green that did all the beach rentals, concessions and chairs and all that stuff. And he used that lot for storage for all his trailers and equipment for the beach rentals. And previous to that, it was the Outlaw Motorcycle Club. So we had been in discussion about combining the 2 lots together, which supposedly would alleviate the violations in its entirety. Am I understanding that correctly?
Yeah, if you did combine both parcels into one parcel.
Okay, we ain't doing that. That's a nightmare. Everybody that does that, it turns out to be a gigantic mess. Then you get into zoning issues. Then you get into all kinds of other issues. And then I don't know how these parcels are zoned.
Yeah.
And if the zoning's different for each parcel,
That's industrial,
another
commercial,
headache.
but-
So you got to think about that.
That's-
That ain't a quick.
That's what was recommended
Let
to
me
me.
rephrase that. It's your property. You do what you want. I'm just telling you, historically, that's never been a quick fix. That's all I'm telling you. But Okay. So you own this property. This property is 2 parcels. One has a building on it, and one, the city, is telling you is a vacant lot.
Correct. So the one parcel, the building takes up the entire frontage. The lot's 50 foot wide. The building's approximately 48 feet wide. And then the vacant lot
What, if
next to
anything,
it.
do the vehicles that are parked on this property have to do with the building that's there?
I live there as well.
Okay, what, if anything, do the vehicles that are on the vacant lot, forget the camper for them, said there were 4 vehicles there.
Yep.
Okay, for example, are they being worked on in the green building, or are they, I didn't know if maybe the green building's like a mechanic shop or something like that.
At the present moment, it's just a vacant building.
Well, you know what, I'm gonna give you the 60 days, because, to be honest with you, I think, if I were you, I'd be looking into it. I'm not gonna sit there and argue anything on your behalf, but I'd be looking into it. You have 2 parcels of property, need to know how they're zoned. As it stands, I'm gonna order you to come into compliance, and I'm gonna give you the 60 days you asked for. I'm just telling you that I think maybe you need to look below the surface of this, as far as what these properties are, how they're zoned, what you can actually utilize them for, and as far as your notion that you're allowed to stay in that motorhome because of some sort of emergency orders due to hurricane, that's beyond my purview. I don't know anything about that. So in any event, I'll give you the 60 days just so you can either figure it out, but either way, you'll have to either figure it out or be in compliance, one or the other. Okay, have I found the respondent in non-compliance? All right, if I didn't already, I'll find the respondent in non-compliance and order the respondent to come into compliance. When was the last time this property was used for any business purposes?
Prior to me purchasing it, probably
Oh, no, I'm talking about
12
you.
years ago, maybe.
I'm talking about you. When was the last time this, what is the property currently being used for?
I live there.
As a what?
I live there.
I heard that. Is it being used for any business purpose?
No.
So there's no business conducted there?
Correct.
All right. I'll order the respondent to be in compliance by March 5, 2025, or be returned to the special magistrate for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day thereafter. You can do whatever you want, but if I were you, I'd find a building and zoning lawyer to talk to see what opportunities may present itself, because I'd want to know that.
Thank you.
Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
We're good? We're good.
What's that?
Yes.
Case number 22, D&J Global Holding LLC. Anyone here for the respondent? Not seeing a respondent. What say the city?
All right, this case was field generated, opened on September 6th of 2024, overgrown vacant lot, trash and debris. First notification was on September 16th of 2024. Compliance was due by September 27th of 2024. Last day of reinspection was January 10th of 2025. Result, non-compliance. There's been no conversation with the owner. Staff requests a finding of non-compliance with compliance due next cutoff.
Noting the absence of the respondent, based upon the testimony of our inspector and the photographs presented, I find the respondent in non-compliance. In order the respondent come into compliance by February 5, 2025, or be returned to the special magistrate for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day thereafter. Case number 23, Vincent C. Brown. Anyone here for the respondent? Not seeing a respondent, what say the city?
All right, this case was a citizen's complaint. It was opened on September 16th of 2024 for trash and debris in front of the property prior to Hurricane Milton. Since then, FEMA has picked up the majority of the debris. However, some stuff is still left out there. First notification was on September 23rd of 2024. Compliance was due by August 2nd of 2024. Last day of reinspection was January 9th of 2025. Result, non-compliance. There's been no contact with the owner. Staff requests a filing of non-compliance with compliance due next cutoff.
Noting the absence of the respondent, based upon the testimony of our inspector and the photographs presented, I find the respondent in non-compliance. In order the respondent come into compliance by February 5, 2025, or be returned to the special magistrate for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day thereafter. Case number 24, Lu Win No Min and Hoa Win No Trung and Na Win Thi Thu. Anybody recognizing any of these names? Because I don't want to keep going and doing this, because I had a lot of them. All right, I'm assuming the respondents aren't here. That having been said, what say the inspector?
All right, this case was field generated, opened on September 19th of 2024, overgrown vacant lot with trash and debris. First notification was on September 19th. Property was posted. Compliance was due by September 30th of 2024. Last day of reinspection was January 9th of 2025. Result, non-compliance. There's been no conversation with the owner. Staff requests a finding of non-compliance with compliance due next cutoff.
Noting the absence of the respondents, based upon the inspector's testimony and the photographs presented, I find the respondents in non-compliance and order the respondents come into compliance by February 5, 2025, or be returned to the special magistrate for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day thereafter. Case number 25, Arthur J. Rockwell and Robin Hardman. Okay, folks, if you would please state your names and be sworn by our secretary.
Arthur J. A.J. Rockwell.
Raise your hand. Do you swear from the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you. Mark.
Okay, folks, do you agree these violations existed or occurred as stated in the notice of violation?
I do not.
Okay. All right, Mr. Inspector, what's the nature of the violation and how have these folks violated it?
All right, this case was field generated, opened on September 24th of 2024. Commercial vehicles parked on an unapproved surface on a vacant lot. First notification was on October the 1st. Property was posted. Compliance was due by October the 11th. Last day of reinspection was January 9th. Result, non-compliance. There's been no contact from the owner. Staff requests a finding of non-compliance with compliance due next cutoff. Basically, they purchased this property, I think it was around the middle of last year, and they moved all those commercial vehicles on vacant lots, residential vacant lots. One is a commercial vacant lot with no approved site plan with the city. And you just can't just do that. Prior to that, the lots were both vacant.
They were what now?
Prior to them moving in, the two lots, because there's two cases, both of those lots were vacant.
All right, what say the respondent?
The lots were not vacant. We moved the equipment and stuff out that was before there. You can look at aerial photographs. It was used for storage of vehicles, boats, boat trailers, that kind of stuff. We moved that stuff out. May have been lower than the fence and harder to see, but it was definitely not vacant. Like he had stated, I've bought the property less than 6 months ago. In the due diligence period, I reached out to the city and was referred to Mr. Jim Morse, and I met with just Mr. Jim Morse during the due diligence project time, and told him what we were going to do with the property. We had another business with the equipment in New Smyrna Beach, and we were acquiring the existing business and continuing to operate it as it is now. Good feedback before I bought the property. Since I bought the property, and the property is 4 commercial industrial lots and 1 small residential lot, to my understanding. Since I bought the property, we've been flooded twice. We've had 2 hurricanes. The property's been flooded twice. I've got pictures if we can show you the pictures. We've been broke into 3 times with considerable theft.
What's to be broken into? You mean the fence?
I cut the fence, climbed the fence. I mean,
Okay.
it's kind of in a.
I just want to be clear. There's no structure on the property.
Yeah, there is
other than the
structures.
fence.
There is structures. He didn't take it, and it's not a vacant property. There is 2 structures. There's a structure that we're running the business that we moved from.
Where
New
is that in
Smyrna Beach.
relation to what I'm looking at?
Just on the other side of the trailers and the vehicles.
Okay, so there's a building over there.
There's 2 buildings, 2 businesses, 2 buildings. So it's not, none of it's vacant property. There's a business run out of 1 structure, and there's the existing business that's been there for 33 years that we acquired, run out of the other structure. Like I say, we've had a pretty rough start with the city. I mean, I thought Jim Morris was very helpful to me when we was looking at it, but with 2 hurricanes, multiple break-ins, now having code violations for something that we checked into during the due diligence period before the purchase of the property, and were told it would be okay. After we received that, I left a message for the code inspector. I didn't hear from him till the next day. I reached back out to Mr. Morse. He said he had set up a meeting. He set up a meeting. There was at least 8 people on a conference call. We had a conference call for about 45 minutes regarding this. And also, when we had talked with him, because we were wanting to build another building and add approximately 35 jobs to the existing business that's been here for 33 years. Very helpful before the fact. After the fact, we've run into roadblocks with permitting because there's no stormwater. There's no stormwater system capacity in the whole area. So that was one issue, and the other issue was this zoning issue. The zoning issue is not simply cut and dried. The zoning issue that we're talking about today has been before this panel before. The residential lot that was a house.
What is the zoning issue?
The residential lot. I was only served with one of these, so we're talking about 2 cases. The one that you got 25 that we're talking about, and then also I just seen on the agenda today. I didn't know anything about the case on 26, the agenda item. All I was ever served with was the 25.
No, sir, you were served with both cases.
Okay, what is the connection of is 26 a different property?
26 is a commercial property.
Is it the same property?
That it's not vacant. It says it's used vacant property, storage of vehicles on vacant property. We do stormwater maintenance, repair work, and that kind of stuff. So that's what's stored on the property.
Okay. Cases 25 and 26, do they involve the same property?
Correct. It's 5 parcels.
5 parcels. 4 of them are commercial, 1 of them's residential.
Correct.
2 businesses.
Correct.
Okay.
And on the 2 parcels that is before Your Honor, there's no permanent structure on those parcels that would make them considered a vacant parcel.
Can we zoom out on the aerial? Yeah, it's cutting the structures off. The structures
because that's considered 1 parcel. Okay, right next to it is the other case, which is the residential vacant lot, There's no structure on that building, on that parcel. So both of these parcels, per Volusia County property appraisers, are listed as a vacant commercial structure, not structure, but parcel, and a vacant residential parcel.
So the red box he's got right now is case 26. Case 25 that we're starting with here is the one to the right of that.
Listed right there, vacant commercial.
Case 25 has been before this panel before. It was fenced out, and AAA Fence was contracted to fence it in because of zoning violations and stuff with the previous owner, because it was a high crime area. There was a house located on there that was being used by vagrants for multiple crimes. The owner didn't want to fence it in if he could not use it. So it came before this panel before because if he was going to spend, AAA Fence charged him $16,800 to fence that in with industrial fence. I mean, that's not a white picket fence they put around a residential lot. It was fenced in. There was concessions made by this panel before that there would not be an entrance allowed off of Cedar Street to use those as industrial. If there was only one entrance off of Loomis Avenue and through the industrial parcels, then all 5 parcels could be used contiguously for the same purpose, which we are still currently using them for. There's still only one entrance through the industrial, and it's still being used as it was before this panel in the
keep
past.
saying before this panel doesn't have the authority to do any of that.
There was
So what
zoning
panel are
issues.
you
There was
talking about?
zoning issues with it before,
So was this like a board of variance or
to my understanding.
Okay, because that's not me. So quit challenging my Alzheimer's here. All right. And if
And
I
I'm not
understand
sure
what
how-
you're saying, is that these are not vacant lots. These are contiguous to an active business. Is that what you're
Correct.
saying? Now, the red outline is commercial property.
Correct.
The unoutlined portion to the right of it, that's residential property.
Correct.
Both
And you
both
own
vacant.
both of these parcels.
Correct.
And where is the commercial business located on the red
Looking
outlined
at this picture
parcel?
to be just to the north, right against that property line.
So there's a building there out of which business is conducted. What do these trucks have to do with that business? What's the business?
We do stormwater maintenance and construction and repairs, lakes, canals.
So that's what these trucks are for.
Correct. When we had the flooding, we took equipment that I own off of this property, and we cleared 50 square blocks, over 50 square blocks for the city of Daytona's high water vehicles, because the high water vehicles could go through the flooding, but when there was poles and trees down blocking the road, they couldn't go through there. I did that, on my dime. I did not ask for reimbursement for it, but the city high water vehicles, the police department, couldn't get to rescue people. We took equipment that's parked on this property and cleared the streets, and I've got pictures of it if you'd like to see it.
No, I'll take your word for it. All right, so let's get back to case number 25.
Yeah, I've got pictures of the buildings here as well that they're saying that there's no.
I'll take your word for it. Case number 25 is the parcel that is not outlined on this
Correct.
photograph. That's the residential area.
Correct.
And the notice of violation I'm looking at is multiple vehicles stored on commercial vacant lot.
Mr. McKelvey.
I don't understand the violation.
Yeah, if I may, it appears that a lot more has happened than what we know about. And I would like to ask if we can continue this so we can look into, he says he's met with the deputy city manager.
City officials.
He says he's met with other people in the panel as well. We're not aware of this. No one in code is expressed knowledge of that. Neither do I have any knowledge of what has transpired in that regard. Would like to be able to have that information before we make additional decisions regarding this case.
This was a surprise to me too, because I was told to hold off, and then I would hear back from somebody from Mr. Jim Morris's office or somebody, or he would get somebody in contact with me. So when I received these violations between Christmas and New Year's, it was a surprise to me. I called Mr. Jim Morris's office last week and left a couple messages, and I haven't. People's busy because people had time off through the holidays, and I know stuff stacked up on people's desks, but I was surprised that I didn't hear from that office before I received these notices.
Understand.
All right, case 25, multiple vehicles stored on commercial vacant lot. That's the red outline lot. Case number 26, multiple vehicles stored on residential vacant lot. That was the unoutlined
Correction.
adjoining lot. And all these lots are contiguous, and all these lots serve the business you tell me that
Correct.
out of sight but is on the property. All right, so what is it you're looking for, Counselor? I assume you're looking for me to continue any determination with regard to cases 25 and 26 until the city has an opportunity to look into some of the representations made by the respondent.
That's correct.
Have any objection to that?
I do not, sir.
Am I continuing this to a date certain?
This is the next cutoff. We'll either know that we need to get some things done and taken care of based on deciding and whether or not they're cited properly, or we'll recite them for whatever. If there is something to cite for, we'll dismiss it if there's nothing to cite for.
So you want me to just continue
So
it?
if we can continue to next meeting, continue to the next meeting, and either it's resolved or we'll be given direction.
Dean suggested that I continue this to our February 5th meeting. Do you want to be heard on that? Any gripe about that?
No, that's fine.
All right, then I'm going to continue cases 25 and 26 to the February 11, 2025 meeting to allow the parties to do a little more homework and determine whether these matters are going to be pursued. And if they are, then presumably we'll hear them on February 11th, or we'll at least hear why we're not hearing them. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Case number 27, William Kistner Estate. Anyone here for the William Kistner Estate? Not seeing anybody. What say the city?
All right, this case was field generated and opened on October the 7th of 2024, overgrown vacant lot with trash and debris. First notification was on October 14th. Property was posted. Compliance was due by October 24th. Last day of reinspection was January 9th of 2025. Result, non-compliance. There's been no contact from the owner. Staff requests a finding of non-compliance with compliance due next cutoff.
Noting the absence of the respondent, based upon the testimony of our inspector and the photographs presented, I find the respondent in non-compliance and order the respondent to come into compliance by February 5, 2025, or be returned to the special magistrate for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day thereafter. Case number 28, Darren Ottman. Anyone here for the respondent? Not seeing a respondent, what say the city?
All right, this case was a citizen's complaint opened on November 21st of 2024 for outside storage of pallets, vehicles, trailers parked on a vacant lot. First notification was on November 21st of 2024. Compliance was due by November 26th of 2024. Last day of reinspection was January 10th of 2025. Result, non-compliance. There's been no contact from the owner. Staff requests a finding of non-compliance with compliance due next cutoff.
Noting the absence of the respondent, based upon the inspector's testimony and the photographs presented, I find the respondent in non-compliance and order the respondent to come into compliance by February 5, 2025, or be returned to the special magistrate for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day thereafter. Case number 29, Daytona Universal Trucking Incorporated. Anyone here for the respondent? Not seeing a respondent, what say the city?
All right, this case was also a citizen's complaint opened on November 21st of 2024. Vehicles parked on a vacant lot. First notification was on November 21st of 2024. Property was posted. Compliance was due by November 26th of 2024. Last day of reinspection was January 10th of 2025. result non-compliance. There's been no contact from the owner. Staff requests a finding of non-compliance with compliance with next cutoff.
Noting the absence of the respondent based upon the inspector's testimony and the photographs presented, find the respondent in non-compliance, order the respondent to come into compliance by February 5, 2025, or be returned to the special magistrate for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day thereafter. Case number 30, Daytona Universal Trucking Incorporated. Anyone here for the respondent? Not seeing a respondent, what say the city?
All right, Your Honor, this is a repeat violation case. All right, so this will be the third one. So this is a repeat violation case for the vacant lot at 550 Foot Court. The first case goes back to June 21st of 2022 for outside storage of pallets, commercial vehicles, trailers, etc. on a vacant lot that is being used to run a commercial business in a residential zone. The last time this property was in compliance was on January 4th of 2023 under the original case SMG 09-22-267. A will fine was ordered and dated on January 25th of 2023. The first repeat violation case was in November of 2023 under SMG 11-23-268 for Daytona Universal Trucking. He received a repeat violator fine of $200 per day for being in non-compliance on 5 occurrences, equaling fines up to $1,000. The second repeat violation case was in June of 2024 under SMG 06-24-95 against Daytona Universal Trucking, was fined $1,000 per occurrence inspection, equaling a $10,000 fine. This is the third repeat violation case for Daytona Universal Trucking for being in non-compliance. This case was opened on November 21st of 2024 after receiving citizens' complaints. Inspections were completed on the following days: November 20th of 2024, November 26th of 24, December 3rd of 24, December 10th of 2024, December 17th of 2024, December 24th of 2024, December 30th of 2024, January 2nd of 2025, January 6th of 2025, and January 13th of 2025. Staff is requesting a fine for the repeat offender of $5,000 per occurrence per inspection, equaling $50,000.
And we've heard nothing from the respondent?
No, sir. He doesn't care. The previous case at 119 Helm Street, 2 cases prior to this one, he's also pretty much using that lot to park his excess equipment on that lot.
Where's Foot Court?
It's right off of ISB, right behind the Checkers on the corner of ISB and MLK. As you cross the Checkers, it'll be your first right-hand turn, and then you just that'll be Helm. You'll see what's going on Helm Street. Then when you make that left-hand turn on Foot Court, you'll see this going on right there.
If this is 8 occurrences at 5,000, it would be 40,000 max.
He counted 10 occurrences. Thought we were talking about 10 occurrences.
Oh, okay, maybe that's why I got to 50. All right.
Yeah, 10 occurrences.
Okay.
That's what I counted.
Okay, good.
All right. Noting the absence of the respondent, based upon the testimony of our inspector, taking into consideration the respondent's awareness of the will fine, given in the past history, and the repeat violations, I'm finding the respondent the sum of $5,000 per occurrence, finding that there have been 10 occurrences, And I'm finding the respondent the sum of $50,000. Anything else I need to say?
No, that covers it.
All right, case number 31, Daytona Blue Tide Group LP. Anyone here for the respondent? All right, what say the city?
My respondent was first notified on July 18th of 2024. Since last November, there's been contact with some emails with Mr. Hopkins. The overgrown area of the lot was cut on December 20th of 2024. However, piles of debris, tree limbs, trash, refrigerator was left on the lot. Staff requests a fine of $250 a day with a max fine of $50,000. And the second part to this case, they're still trying to get approval from the federal agencies and local agencies to authorize the dredge project that they can use going forward for a staging area.
Okay, the order says includes language with regard to all matters other than the permit application. What property is this?
That's the one on ISB as you go over the bridge.
Property on the left?
Yes, sir.
One that's supposed to be a marina someday?
Correct. This
They
case
didn't
first,
finish cleaning it up like they said they were going to?
they did move all the commercial equipment off the concrete staging area, and you told them they were fine with that, but they needed to clean up the grassy area as you drive into the property. They were supposed to have that done, I believe, by January the 9th, I believe was the cutoff. That's the grass area that they did clean, but they left piles of debris, a refrigerator right there you can see all over that property.
Noting the absence of the respondent based upon the testimony of our inspector as well as the photographs presented, I'm fining the respondent the sum of $250 per day commencing January 8, 2025. These are for all matters other than the permit application.
Correct.
And that fine will continue to accrue each day thereafter until the respondent is in compliance or the amount of the fine has reached the sum of $50,000.
Mr. McKelvey, can we take a quick?
Yes, and we're going to take about a 10-minute break. For any of you people who are out here who are on the balance of the agenda, if you'll let our secretary know what your case is, we'll go straight to your cases. Because we only have a few people left here, so if you'll let the secretary know which case is yours, then we'll go straight to your cases when we resume. We're going to take about a 10-minute break.
I'll ask IT if we have any waiting on Zoom. IT, do we have any waiting on Zoom?
Yes, 32 and 33.
Okay.
And one more, and 41.
I have 32, 33, 37, and 41.
I don't have a respondent for 37.
Very good. Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you. Eddie, yes?
All right, we are reconvening now, which brings us to case number 32, Seminole Boosters Incorporated. I believe we have a Zoom attendee.
Good Lord. Huh? Oh, this one really one. Yeah, I see that. Yeah. Okay. Is that the right person? Oh, Lord.
Haven't seen him.
Oh, okay.
That's the email I have associated.
This is the Seminole Booster representative.
No, he's waiting to have someone from here. Oh, he's up and ready?
Oh.
Can you hear us, Mr. Lloyd?
Yes.
Oh, there we go.
Yes.
All right. Case number 32, Seminole Boosters, Inc. Anyone here for the respondent?
I am here for the boosters.
And who are you?
I am John Moore of the law firm Ackerman.
Okay. This matter is here for the imposition of a fine, so let's hear from our inspector.
Good morning, John Stinson, Code Inspector with the city. Qualifications are on file. This property has been sold. There is actually a new owner, Mr. Matthew M. McConnell, and he has also been cited, so we'd like to amend this case to the March cutoff.
And Mr. McConnell was a responder?
Yes, sir. And I have the warranty deed here if you need to see it.
You have a copy of the recorded deed? Mr. Vacalja, I'm reviewing Anthony Jackson, attorney for the city. Mr. Vacalja, I'm viewing a recorded deed, was recorded on December 26, 2024, with a grantor. Okay, with a grantor being the Seminole Booster Inc. And grantee being Matthew M. McConnell.
Okay, so what does that mean? Seminole Boosters Incorporated is now a co-respondent with Mr. McConnell?
Yes, since this is already a case that was already active at the time, yeah, he will be added. Mr. McConnell will be added to the case.
So what is the relief we're looking for today?
We would, today we would continue to allow the new owner to have an opportunity to respond.
And I'm sorry, your name again, sir?
I'm John Lohr, the law firm Ackerman, Magistrate.
All right, Mr. Lohr, it looks as though, for all intents and purposes, we're continuing this matter to the February 11th meeting to give the new co-respondent, presumably until February 5, 2025, to come into compliance. Do you have any objection to that?
Did you want to give him one time?
No, I do not, Magistrate. I would briefly, with respect to the site or what's at least included in this agenda, I believe that my client has corrected almost all of this with the exception of the broken windows, damaged or missing screens. That was taken care of prior to the transfer of the property. I think that those are the only three things outstanding. So to the extent that there's any concern about some of these other things, specifically the raw sewage notation, that's no longer an issue at the property. That's all been taken care of. So we would, it was my understanding before we transferred the property that the case against the boosters was going to be dismissed and a separate case was going to be opened against the new respondent with the expectation. property up, and into getting, correcting what I think was sort of a blight in the city of Daytona with a property that was, that was gifted to the boosters and ended up having, 6 or 7 vagrants in it that had to be evicted. Police had to get out there. There was some serious vandalism at the property with respect to graffiti. All of that stuff was taken care of by the boosters with the expectation that, once we transfer the property, that this would no longer be an issue for us. And when we transferred the property, we also paid a longstanding City of Daytona fine around $21,000. That was, back, I think, from 2016, way before we were gifted the property. So the boosters would really like to not be a co-respondent at this time, and hoping that you will entertain, and the city will entertain, discharging us from these further proceedings.
What say the city?
Mr. Vicalja, what we try to avoid, and I know this is not what Mr. Lore's implying in any way, but what we try to avoid is creating a circumstance where people are trading out or selling out their obligation under the law. The findings that were made against the Booster Inc. If they contractually made some agreements with a purchasing party, that's between them contractually, but they are the respondents, and and any purchaser would just come on board with the same responsibilities. They're not. We don't release the original respondent in any of these cases. I know that there's been an exceptional circumstance when there was no possible way that the original person could possibly take any action. I think we had a situation like that, and ultimately it ended up being a major challenge for us because the case extended well beyond the time period that you thought it would have should have been able to resolve. The reality is, it's the Booster's case. The easiest way to get it resolved is to come into compliance. He says they're near compliance already, so that the way out is to just go ahead and whoever completes it to get it completed, and that would take care of everything.
Okay, is Mr. McConnell what, if anything, has Mr. McConnell received with regard to these proceedings?
That should have been given to him through the seller. The seller was responsible to notify the purchaser of this proceeding and notify us of the proceeding as well. I don't know if they did or not. I mean, notify us as to the transaction, the sale of the property.
I guess my point is, at this point in time, there's been no service upon Mr. McConnell of any process to, so to speak, or has there?
I have cited the new owner as well.
You have cited the new owner as well?
That's correct.
He's been served with that?
I've already issued the certified notice as case number.
Has he already received it?
I don't know if he's received it yet, sir.
Okay, so that's in the process?
Yes.
Okay.
The statute requires us to give additional time upon the property changing hands to.
I understand that. I'm just not comfortable that we have Mr. McConnell on board sufficient enough to try to entertain Mr. Lore's request that the Seminole Boosters be allowed out. So, Mr. Lore, for the time being, Seminole Boosters Incorporated is still in there. Once we have Mr. McConnell firmly on board, then I'd be happy to reconsider your request at that point in time.
Thank you for your consideration, Magistrate. And one more request, if I may, that we get an accounting of what the actual outstanding issues are from the city's perspective.
I'm sure if you'll contact Mr. Stenson, he'd be happy to tell you that. Or if you want to give him a phone number right now, I'm sure he'd be happy to call you.
I've got his information and email, sir.
Okay, we'll do that.
Yeah.
All right, good luck to you, sir.
Thank you, and thank you all.
Oh, so anyway, so I'm not imposing a fine.
No.
I'm
Amending to the,
Pardon?
are we amending to
We're
add the new owner?
amending to add Matthew M. McConnell as an additional respondent. We are extending our previous compliance date to February 5 of 2025. And if the property's not in compliance, then the respondents will be returned to the special magistrate for consideration. We have a Mr. Ibsen appearing by Zoom.
Okay.
Yes, sir, if you would please state your name and be sworn.
My name is Scott Ibsen.
Raise your right hand. Swear or affirm the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Ibsen, this matter is here for the imposition of a fine, so let's hear from our inspector.
John Stinson, Code Inspector with the City of McCormick, cases on file. This respondent was first notified on May 13th, 2024. He was cited for interior renovations without the required permits. Since then, the permit has been resubmitted on 8 October 2024. There has been no movement on that permit since October 14th, 2024. The city is asking for the imposition of a fine of $200 per day to be kept at $15,000.
Did you say the permit was resubmitted October of 24?
The permit was originally submitted on May 21st. It went to the building department, and they're requiring it to be resubmitted with corrections, and that occurred on 8 October 2024.
I'm confused. So what does that mean? The building department's looking for more information?
That's correct.
From the respondent?
Yes, sir.
And do we know what, if anything, the respondent has done in response to that?
There has been no movement on the permit since October 14th, 2024.
What's going on with the permit?
I wish I would turn the permit in. I'm the owner of the building. I did all the work myself. I turned the permit in. The permit was rejected because I do not have, I can't do the work myself is what they said. I have spent the last 4 months with my property manager trying to find a general contractor to handle it. It's been very difficult, but I do have one. I have that contract signed and payments already been made. I did send a copy of the contract to Miss Kimberly Reno. I sent it this morning. She should have it in her email. But I'm working with Matt Haggerty, is my contact with the county. He is working with the commercial or whatever that level permit to get it turned into the city. I've spoken with his partner. He said that should be turned in within 2 weeks.
Okay, when was this contract with your contractor signed?
1 second. Within the last week.
Okay. What is left to be done here? I guess we got to get is it just getting the permit, or is it getting the permit and doing the work?
I can.
Go ahead.
He needs to obtain the permit and pass final inspections.
And
that permit needs to be finalized out.
Pardon?
That means the permit needs to be issued, inspected, and finalized out in order for the case to close.
And it's not finalized out until what? The work is done?
Well, it's not finalized out until the building inspector inspects it and says it's done.
Okay. So it's not just getting a permit to come into compliance?
No, it's the complete permit process.
Okay. How much time should be required to do that?
He could have it done by the next cutoff. However, this case has been open since May.
I know. Okay. All right. I'm sorry. I'm still confused as heck. What's the status of your permit right now? Because I'm getting ready to fine you. Because I'm tired of looking at amended orders of noncompliance, kicking this can down the road. So unless you start talking real specific and real concrete about something that tells me this is about to be done immediately, then I'm getting ready to fine you. So what's the status?
My my contractor. He's trying to get all the paperwork in order. I just got him about a month ago. He's been doing as best he can and trying to get everything turned in. He's told me he's gonna have the permits in within the next couple of weeks.
And once these permits are in, how long should it take to do the work?
I don't know if the work is completed or not, but he should be able to finish all of this.
What's
by
the
next
scope of the
summer.
work that's left to be done?
Just the inspection.
Just the inspection.
The house is already occupied. It's been occupied since April. It's just the permit issue came up and we're trying to get it pushed through.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what. So the house is occupied, the work is done, the permit is yet to be finalized, and that's what you're in the process of doing now with a
Yes.
general contractor with whom you've already contracted.
Yes.
And once the permit is obtained, the only thing you need to do is call for an inspection, and then according to you, that ought to be the end of it because the work's all done.
Yes.
And you're expecting this contractor to do what within the next couple weeks?
He's just filling out the contract permits, making sure everything's in order.
So you're telling me this is nothing but paperwork at this point?
Yes, I cannot do paperwork myself. The original permit was rejected because I'm the owner and not a licensed contractor with the city of Daytona.
Okay. Then I'm going to amend our current, whatever amended order of noncompliance we're on, to allow the respondent until February 5, 2025 to be in compliance. If not, on February 6, 2025, a fine in the amount of $200 per day will go into effect and will continue each day thereafter until the property is in compliance or the amount of the fine has reached the sum of $15,000. Understood?
Understood.
This is the final gun to your head here.
All
You're
right.
telling me the work is done. You're telling me it's going to pass inspection. You're telling me it's only paperwork. You're telling me the delay was you found out or discovered you had to have a general contractor. You're telling me you now have that contractor and he's already working on it, and you're telling me it's nothing left but paperwork. So, see to it that that's done by February 25th. Failing that, if there's no notice of compliance in this file, a fine in the amount of $200 per day will start running on February 6th.
It should be February 5th. You said 25th.
All right, I'm sorry. February 5th is the compliance date. Okay, we all clear?
Yes.
All right, good luck to you. All right, do I need to restate that order, or do you understand? Okay. All right, we've done case number 34. Case number 35, Denise T. Diabato.
It's 34. I thought it was 33. Yeah, that last one we just said was number 33.
Right.
Okay, all right.
And we've already done case
we already did
34.
Oh, I got you. All right.
That was one of the first cases we did. Yes, folks, if you would please state your names and be sworn.
Denise Stabato.
Mike Manderville.
Raise your hand. You swear from the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth. Thank you.
Okay, I have that this matter was previously continued for us to get a progress report and hopefully determine a compliance date. What's progress?
Progress is the contractor we had is basically a no-show right now. No communication. We had a lot of issues with him not meeting code and arguing with me about a lot of the things he was doing wrong. And he ended up bringing another crew out there to see if they could finish it up. And they were making worse mistakes than the first crew. And the guy who was, apparently these contractors, they just hire whoever to work for them. They don't actually do any of the work. So the second guy that came out, he just brought some guys over, told them what to do, left, come back every so often and check on them or whatever, but they were doing a bad job and not doing things correctly. And then he was going to come and do it himself, he said, and take care of it, when he realized that the initial contractor was supposed to pay him the remainder of what we owed him. When he realized that we paid him probably 90% of what we owe him, there's not much money there. The last we talked to him is he was supposed to, was it 2 Sundays ago or no?
No, way before
3
the
Sundays ago, something
holidays,
like that.
beginning of December.
Beginning of December. He was supposed to show up. He said he was they were going over the money and he was going to figure out what it would cost and everything. And he texted her and said he would be over a Sunday like within 2 hours, never showed up. He's also told her that he didn't want to get involved in the middle. He actually wanted off the job. He didn't want to be in the middle of this. The other, how bad the other guy did his work. There's too much stuff to correct. And given her false hope of how quickly he could do things and stuff, not realizing how much more he had to fix. So basically I let her handle them, and I started fixing the stuff myself, taking apart the things that were wrong, fixing the squareness, fixing the boards that were out of place and not right. There's the wrong size screws, not structural screws, the wrong hanger. It's just ridiculous stuff that a contractor should know better.
We had to reorder materials about 3 times because they ruined the original orders, so we had to keep getting more and more. So we basically, what you're seeing now, we've already paid over $20,000 for that.
Over $25,000. And we just have basic up top frame. And he ordered, the next contractor ordered $800 worth of more lumber that didn't need to have there, more posts and stuff that are just sitting there that we didn't need. They're just, just more and more money we're throwing at this thing. And the guy told me, oh, you want us to build you a piano, not just a deck. I'm like, no, I want you to, meet code. And they keep arguing over the plans. I said, why can't you guys just build what was on the plans to begin with and stop trying to change everything and do your own thing? And, it's just been a nightmare. So basically, the only people here now are suffering is us. She took a loan out to be able to pay for this, so we can't afford to hire another contractor because they're not going to want to finish his bastard last deck. They're going to want to rip it completely down and do it over.
And we don't know what to do, and we've tried calling the city and asking what recourse we have, what we can do. Nobody's helping, and
I tried getting a meeting with the guy in charge of the building department. The building department's been nice, but they basically said they can make him meet code, but they can't make him show up if he doesn't want to meet code and just.
What's the status of the dilapidated deck stairway?
Gone. You can see there's no stairway.
Yeah, the stairway.
I don't know what I'm looking for.
Where that ladder is, see where the ladder's going up, the middle ladder?
Yep.
Not that one, the one next to it. That's where the stairway was, but they can't even cut stair stringers. So the second guy.
So there's supposed to be a stairway there.
Yeah, there was a half a stairway before, but the second guy came, we ripped it all down because they couldn't cut the stair stringers right. So I recut stair stringers when this other guy was here because his guy couldn't do it either. So I said, leave it alone. I bought more lumber. I cut the stair stringers, a few of them, and then they weren't showing up. So rather than mess with that, I'm fixing the deck is actually out of square. The posts were actually a couple of them, they were the wrong heights off by a little bit. So they were, one part of the deck kind of tilts down. The other part of the deck was tilting towards the house. So I'm leveling all that out. Had to plane a lot of the top of the wood down, and like the corners are out of square. And then I realized that they bought all just regular standard galvanized hangers, which they should be at least Z-Max coated, which is double the zinc coating for the corrosion resistance. A lot of screws I found that they were putting, instead of using the 3-inch screws, they're supposed to use 1.5 inch nails. They use non-structural screws to put, so it's just like I'm going back and fixing everything. Get it to a point. So basically.
Why it sounds so heartless? When's it going to be done?
I have no idea. I mean, I'm doing it as fast as I can. But then
Are you allowed to do it?
No, that's the other thing. I'm not a licensed contractor. So I'm working under this guy's permit because I figure if he can hire, day laborers, what's the difference whether I'm doing it under his permit than a day
Let's
laborer
say the
or
city.
somebody from the bar?
Inspector Curtis Wiggins, code compliance credentials on file. Again, respondent was first notified of violation February 11th, 2023. Since the October hearing, no progress was made.
I've had contact with the owner. We did speak about this situation, what he's telling you. The last inspection was January the 7th, 2025. So staff recommends that we amend to the March cutoff.
And we're talking about a stairway that takes us up to that second story?
That's second story.
Well, we need not just the stairs, we gotta complete the whole deck. We gotta put the deck boards and everything on it and stuff.
So the stairway, the decking, and railing, I assume?
Pretty much finish the whole deck. Which, once I fix the mistakes, the actual building the deck wouldn't be that process. It's just fixing the mistakes.
Okay, city's suggesting giving you till March 5. What say you to that?
That's acceptable.
All right. All right. And that also, is the boarded window been taken care of?
Yes.
Very good.
Can I say this?
Yes,
Again, that permit that they have under the other contractor, it expires, I believe, on the 19th or the 27th of this month. So probably would not be no permit unless they talk with that contractor on extending the permit.
Okay.
We're contemplating right now switching it to a two-family house, which then I can pull my own permits, or she can pull her own permits under state law. So we may be doing that. They said, the city already told us all we have to do is rip out the kitchen, which is already ripped out of the other apartment. So we don't want to do that, but I mean, if that's a way for me to be able to pull my own permits and do what I want to do, because it's it comes down to it's our house, and we've been listening to everybody else has been telling us what we have to do, what this and that, and we want a beautiful deck just like you guys want this done. You want it off your books, but this has been a real hardship for us. Every time we got to come back here, we got to take off from work. We got to come here. We got to deal with knuckleheads that don't know what they're doing. I can't believe this guy even has a license.
All right, I'm amending our current order, or I'm ordering the respondent to be in compliance by March 5, 2025, or be returned to the special magistrate for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day thereafter. Good luck.
Thank you.
Case number 36, Vishnu Ltd. and MAA Shantoshi. You would please state your name and be sworn.
Alana Smith with Cobb Cole Law Firm, 1 Daytona Boulevard.
I'm sorry, what was your name again?
Alana Smith with Cobb Cole Law Firm.
Okay, we're here for a progress report and to determine a compliance state. Who's giving me a progress report?
Go ahead.
We gave Officer Yates an update on the full schedule, but I can go over right now the updates on what's been completed since the last hearing.
Go ahead.
So the electrical work has been completed on the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th floor. An inspection has been done and approved by the city for that. For plumbing, drainage and water line plumbing has been completed as well for the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th floor and inspected and approved by the city. Mechanical shaft wall work for the guest room vents has been completed and inspected and improved. The contract has been signed and work is in progress for the elevators. For the fire sprinkler and fire alarm, the plans were submitted and approved by Marriott, and the contract has been signed with IMC and will be submitted to the city for permitting soon. And then equipment related to HVAC, so the water source heat pump, the dedicated outdoor air system, and all that has been ordered. And then for furniture, fixtures, and equipment, the deposit has been paid to the manufacturer, and there's a delivery window of April and May 2025.
Sounds like we're getting pretty close to a compliance state.
Seems that way.
So what's the compliance date?
Well, they aim to open the hotel by July or August of this year.
Sounds like you got furniture coming in April.
We do, but there's still other things that are in progress, and it's my understanding that still need to be completed before then as well.
Okay. What say the city?
Yeah, this case opened May 30th, 2020. Since the last hearing, they continue to make progress and work under permit. We'd like to have them come back in April for a progress report and to be able to determine a final compliance date at that point, because the building should be buttoned up by then and they should have a real good handle on their schedule.
What say respondent?
Yeah, that's right. We just want to confirm the April date for the progress report. And like Officer Yates was saying, we'll be really close to compliance at that point.
All right, then we will, I don't want to say continue, but schedule this matter for a progress report on April 8 of 2025. And at that point, we ought to be able to establish a compliance date.
All right, thank you.
All right, good luck to you. Case number 37, Lauren and Herb Kawesh. This is Zoom attendee.
That's the one I don't have an attendee for.
You don't have what now?
I'm sorry, a recipient or a respondent for. I do not.
What does that mean? Does that mean you're waiting on one, or it's not going to happen?
I'm sorry, they're like, no, they're not in the, they're not logged in. No, I don't have them.
No, he just normally does, but yeah.
Am I proceeding with this or not?
Yeah.
Okay. Not seeing a respondent, what say the city?
All right, they were first notified May 23rd, 2022. Since the last hearing, I've had contact in progress. The structural work in the rear is complete. The only item that remains is the repair in the laundry room. I would like to amend to the next cutoff.
Based upon our inspector's report, I will amend our current order of noncompliance to allow the respondent till February 5, 2025 to come into compliance or be returned to the special magistrate for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day thereafter. Case number 38, Honora Properties LLC. Yes, sir. If you would please state your name and be sworn.
William Panora.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
And your affiliation with Panora Properties LLC? Owner?
I'm the manager.
Okay, fair enough. This matter is here for the imposition of a fine. Let's hear from the city.
Hold on one second.
It's for case 41.
Okay.
We're good now? Yep, okay.
Inspector Itani, Code Compliance, credentials are on file. Respondent was first notified on May 25th, 2024. Since the October hearing, I've had contact with the owner. There has been a new roof placed on the property and the house has been painted. He has replaced the siding in the porch, but without a permit. Last inspection was on January 13th, 2025. The results of the re-inspection was non-compliance. Staff recommends a fine of $100 a day with a cap of $15,000.
You say a new roof was put on?
Yes.
When was that done?
That was done in I believe, was it November?
I have it here. Give me 1 second.
The siding and the porch was repaired
Like
without.
November,
Yeah,
towards the
November.
end. I think right before Thanksgiving.
Okay, toward the end of November, we did the roof. The house has been painted. We've got siding, but without a permit. What does that mean?
He replaced the the north side of the house on the corner. So this side right here, he replaced that without a permit. There's a before picture if
So the siding was done without a permit. What's the non-compliance?
the non-compliance is there's still boards on the windows.
There's still what?
Boards on the windows.
What's the problem with, why do we still have boards on the windows?
I put the boards for safety. I took a picture yesterday, and there is a lot of people on the streets living on the lots right next door. And for security reasons, I really do not want them breaking my windows and going inside my house.
Okay, is the place
Now-
occupied?
No.
All right, so it's not occupied. You put the boards on the windows yourself for security purposes.
Yes.
What other non-compliance is there?
The fence is still damaged.
Fence, what's going on? Why is the fence not done?
The fence is 90% done. I need one. I need to finish it. It's like 90% secure, 95% secure.
All right, what else is left?
And just repairing the windows with glass and actually putting in windows. But some of them don't have glass in them at all.
What's the word?
The glass company that I use, they were on vacation all of December. It's privately owned and operated. I can't control that. But now that he's back, I can definitely put in the windows.
What else?
The glass.
Those were the only things.
All right, what does he have to do to correct the siding?
He has to apply for the permit for the siding.
You have the permit now?
I do.
Pardon?
I do.
You do. Okay, so he's got the permit.
No, he does not.
He does not.
No, he has applied for the permit on Friday.
Yes, I applied. Sorry. Yes.
All right.
But he has not applied for the permit for the porch.
I'm not aware of the porch. She just
what
told
now?
me. I was not aware of the porch. She told me yesterday.
What's the problem with the porch?
It was damaged, and he repaired it without.
I assumed that was part of the siding. It's just rotted wood.
Rotted wood where?
On the porch area. I just replaced the wood as well.
He needs a permit for that?
Yes.
And you're the owner of this property?
I am.
All right, so he needs a permit because he's done siding work without a permit. He needs a permit because he's replaced decking on the porch, and he's told he needs a permit. I heard about the windows. What was left?
The fencing.
Pardon?
The fencing.
And the fencing. Okay.
I can put in the last.
And he tells me that's 90% done. Okay. I'm going to give you till February 5th. You going to have it done by then?
Can I request 60 days? Because
You got nerve. I give you credit for guts.
well, I feel like every time I do something, she always visits me on a weekly basis and finds something new.
Okay.
Like for
Well,
example,
I'll tell you what.
for example, the porch. She
Pardon?
told me yesterday about the porch.
Stop. Just stop. I'm going to give you till February 5, 2025 to come into compliance or be returned to the special magistrate for consideration of fine of up to $1,000 per day thereafter. Now, with regard to the remaining items, if you can't get them done, you make sure you communicate that to her and document why you haven't been able to get it done. I've just heard all the things that have been discussed.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to get into when they were brought up along the way. I'm just going to say, get them done.
Mhm.
And if you can't get it done by February 5th, make sure you've got a trail of communication between you and her explaining why you haven't gotten the few items left to be done. Because it sounds to me like you're really close, and I want it wrapped up.
And I am. Just so we're all on the same page. The fence,
The what?
the fence, the windows, and the fascia.
Fence, the windows, the permit regarding the stucco, the permit regarding the decking on the porch. That's what I recall hearing.
Okay. Well,
Is that about it?
the porch was not there, but
Yes. Yeah.
it was there.
It was.
I did not see it, but
Porch was not where? What are you telling me? It wasn't on the notice of violation?
damaged porch. Okay.
Damaged porch
Well, then
right there.
I was not aware I had to get a permit. Then I was not aware I had to get a permit.
Not
for
a
that.
problem.
All right.
Okay.
Can I
Take
ask-
care of the permits. I know sometimes permits can be problematic, which is why I'm telling you to let her know. Try to get the permit, now they're asking for this, or what have you.
I'm working on it.
Very
and,
good.
And it is in the process. He was on vacation as well. It was December.
I
I'm just
understand.
being honest.
I understand.
My only question is when it comes to trash bags. Can I put trash bags on the window? I know that there was
You put
boards
trash
there.
bags on the window.
I'm just afraid that, again, the people on the streets, they're gonna peek and they're gonna break in and they're gonna live there. That's what I'm afraid of, to be honest. There is a lot of people just living on the lots next door.
Well, as it stands right now, I assume the property is at least secured to city standards.
You may want to consider making it a trespass arrest site.
I've told him that about that.
She told me right now, like 5 minutes ago.
Okay.
I mean, we're communicating. It's just very lagging, you know. I'm trying to do the right thing. I'm getting different information at different times.
Okay, is he allowed to cover up his windows in the interim while the property's unoccupied? Claims he's in a high crime area and he doesn't want anybody disturbing the work. And he says he's been subjected to that already. Now, once somebody's occupying the property, I assume that the need is moot. But, I mean, I'm just asking a question. What's he allowed to do in the way of securing that property while he's trying to get it done? Because we're the ones telling him to get it done.
The best thing he can do is make sure it's secured, front door, back door, all the windows are in place and locked, and then put it on a trespass arrest site program. The land development code does not call for board up windows.
Well, I know it doesn't call for it.
It's
What I'm
prohibited.
wondering is, can he do it?
It's prohibited.
It's prohibited. There's your answer.
Yeah, the boards, yeah, but trash bags.
No, I'm just telling you, it's prohibited.
Trash bags are prohibited?
Yeah.
To put on the windows?
Yeah.
There's your answer.
What was my answer? Get with her. Okay, I'll get with her after. Okay.
10-4, February 5, 2025. Get it done, get somebody in there, then it'll be behind you.
That's the goal.
Yes, sir. Good luck to you.
Thank you. Thank you. Have a good day.
Case 39, Gail Lucinda Smith. Anyone here for the respondent? Not seeing a respondent, what say the city?
She's here.
Oh, okay.
This window's unfixed. They have non-compliance, so you get your window.
Yes, ma'am. If you would state your name and be sworn.
Gail Smith.
Ma'am, can you speak up to the mic? Pull it down.
Gail Smith.
Back to her. Tell them that.
Raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, this matter is here for the imposition of a fine. What say the city?
So the respondent was first notified on June 10th, 2024. Since the November hearing, I have had contact with the owner. The building has been painted and the soffit and gutter has been fixed. And the permit for the stairs have been applied for. But the first permit was applied for, it was the wrong permit. And she applied for a second permit on Friday. The last inspection was January 13th, 2025. The result of the reinspection was non-compliance. Staff recommends a fine of $100 a day with a cap of $15,000.
How much time should it take her to finish up whatever's left to be done?
Well, she needs her permit,
Okay.
and she just applied for it.
And once she has the permit, how long should it take for her to get everything, whatever's left to be done?
It should take by next call off if she has the proper contractor and everything.
Okay. All right, what say the respondent?
Yes, that's what I did. I applied for the wrong permit when I did it the first time, and I came aware of it when she notified me that it was denied because I applied for the wrong one. I went down there and they walked me through to apply for the right one, and I'm just waiting on them to let me know when it's approved.
So you've resubmitted your permit application.
Yes.
They tell you you've done it right, at least as far as what you've submitted.
Yes.
And you're waiting to hear from them.
Yes.
And once you hear back from them, how much work is left to be done?
Nothing. I
Nothing.
just got to
So you're
get
just
with her.
looking for an inspection?
Yes.
Okay. I'll amend our current order of noncompliance to allow the respondent until February 5, 2025 to come into compliance or be returned to the special magistrate for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day thereafter. I'm giving you till February 5th to get it all squared away. Stay on top of the permit, people, until you get your permit.
Okay.
If you're back here again, and they're asking for a fine, and you haven't done anything, and you haven't heard from anybody, then you're gonna get fined.
Okay.
I want you to be, and if that comes up, say, hey, Mr. Vicalji, just like you said, here's my emails to the inspectors saying I'm still waiting on my permit, and I've called them, and they told me whatever.
Okay.
So just stay on top of it.
Okay.
Good luck to
Thank
you.
you.
Yes, ma'am. Case number 40, Beach Development Group, LLC.
Hello, Mariah Quinn, inspector with the city. My credentials are on file. Your Honor, we're asking that you vacate the previous order of noncompliance and dismiss. We have a new owner, and we need to recite the new owner and give them time for compliance.
Okay.
I can explain that too. The order of noncompliance was done on the 18th, and the deed was actually done on the 12th. So the new owner was in place before the order was signed. And we were unaware of that.
So all I'm doing is vacating the prior order of noncompliance?
And just.
Or am I also adding a respondent?
No, this one we're backing out completely. We cited them after they had already made the transaction.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, based upon the report of our investigator,
We recorded
as well as our secretary and counsel, I'm vacating previous order of noncompliance and ordering that this matter be dismissed.
Thank you.
As to Beach Development Group, LLC. Okay, case number 41. Rimkim Incorporated. Here for the imposition of a fine. I believe this is a Zoom attendee that we have.
Mr. Eversona, we need to see you.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, if you would please state your name and be sworn.
Michael Eversona.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Thank you.
Your affiliation with Rimkim Incorporated?
I am the president.
Yes, sir. All right, this matter is here for the imposition of a fine, so let's hear from our inspector.
So the respondent was first notified on May 15th of 2024. Since the last hearing, there's been no progress except for that his original permit was denied on January 2nd of 25 and closed for the wrong permit type on January 6th, 2025. Staff recommends a fine of $100 a day with a max of $15,000.
What happened to your permit?
It was denied because when I was told by the contractor to file an owner permit as per law Title 2021, I was told to do that. I tried to expedite it, I did, and the permit was denied. Unfortunately, I did read the law, and it states that the property cannot be for sale nor for lease at the time of filing the permit, and the property still remains vacant. At this point, I've gone back to the GC, I've explained everything to him, and I told him to start doing this and get it done. He was paid. So now finish it. He told me he will start working on it, and that's where I'm at this point. I am trying everything I can.
How much time should, okay, what work is left to be done, or what work is there to be done?
They have to draw up the plans and sign off and send it to the city. So he's waiting on the architect to do this.
Okay. Has the work itself been done?
Yes, sir.
So
the work on the stairs or the work on the architect?
No, the work on the actual construction work is done?
Yes, sir.
So this is attending to a permit.
I'm sorry?
So this is a matter of just attending to a permit.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And as it stands right now, where are you in the process of getting this permit?
I am waiting for the general contractor to get the paperwork from the architect to resubmit the paperwork to the city for the permit.
And is it your understanding that once you do that, you should get your permit?
Yes, sir.
And is this contractor doing this within a matter of days or weeks or months or what?
It's more likely gonna be weeks because he's dependent upon the architect to do the work.
Okay, I'm going to amend our current order of noncompliance to allow the respondent until February 5, 2025 to come into compliance or be returned to the special magistrate for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day thereafter. All right, stay on top of this guy to get it done. Because if you run past February 5th and I find out you haven't stayed on top of him to get it done, then I'll fine you. If I'm satisfied you've done everything you could to push the process forward, then I'll take that into consideration. 10-4?
Thank you, sir.
Good luck.
Have a good day.
Case number 42, R&J Estates LLC.
Hello.
Folks, if you would please state your names and be sworn.
My name is Rosa Alvarado.
Are you going to be testifying too?
Well, I'm actually with her, so if it's needed, yes. Freddie Okakispi.
Raise your right hand. Do you swear from the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
What is your affiliation with R&J Estates LLC?
Owner.
Okay, very good. All right, continued from the October hearing, ordered to not rent, occupy, utilize, continued for progress report and determination of a compliance date. Who's going to give me a progress report? That would be you.
Must be him.
Okay, that would be him.
Yeah, that's
That's
okay.
fine.
Okay, since the last time that we actually were here, we were trying to find more information. We noticed that there is new people in the same situation as us. This was new from the beginning. So this was a new situation that nobody has faced before here in Daytona. With a new hurricane, we noticed that there is some other people in the same situation, and there is new things. And we have the feeling that FEMA is kind of changing their guidelines too, because the main thing here is not that we don't want to go up to compliance with the city, is that FEMA is not allowing us to do it. So when we were actually speaking here with the city, the code enforcement, there is some other options that right now we're going to be exploring, like some other people that they found, maybe other companies that they can help us with this situation, and also in other areas of the country, we heard that people that were running in these same situations, FEMA is working in a different way with them, and hopefully we can implement it here as well. So because this is new for everybody, something that hasn't happened before, we're still in that process, and we were requesting to see if we can have a little more time so we can definitely come up with a solution to this situation and put everything up to compliance.
Madam Inspector, what is the situation?
So the situation is because it's in a flood zone currently, and the city is requiring them to lift the structure, and it's on a concrete foundation. So they're not able to obtain any permits for some renovation that was done on the interior of the property. They just needed an after-the-fact permit initially, but when they did some more research, because of the flood zone that it's in, the city cannot issue an after-the-fact permit until now the whole structure is raised. So they have been exploring other options, which we doesn't have anything to do with us. So we are recommending compliance at the next cutoff, which is February 5th.
Compliance being what?
So their option was given to them by permitting that they can either raise the house or they'll have to apply for a demo permit.
So the only option they're being given is to tear the house down?
Correct. Or raise it.
Or raise it?
Mhm.
And it's on a concrete
It's on a
slab?
concrete. Yeah, it's on a concrete slab.
And that's one of the reasons I'm sorry that we're actually asking for more time, because this is a unique situation. It's not that we don't want to work with the city. We've been actually in contact all the time. It's exploring different options because we contact several companies that they can actually lift the property. The fact that it's a concrete slab, none of them are pretty much want to take this in work, and some of them, but they're very, very expensive. So we were exploring other situations in people that are in similar situations, because now this is more becoming more, how can I say it, frequent here in Daytona with the last two hurricanes, to see maybe FEMA can work with us or we can find other solutions instead of just demolishing the house, which, for us is very difficult because there's a lot of money involved in there. We're just asking for a little more time so we can go more deeply and come up with a solution.
Okay, just for my edification here, so what happened here? This house was obviously built at some point in time. It was obviously built with a permit, presumably, and now they can't get a permit.
No.
So what changed along the way? Floodplains?
Yeah, FEMA guidelines for permitting in flood zones is
And then
my
city
understanding.
adoption of FEMA guidelines?
Correct.
And
So
promises not to violate?
correct.
All right, well, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to continue this matter to our March 11, 2025 meeting.
Okay. Thank you.
I'm not
sir.
hearing any life safety issues. They already know they're below the floodplain. It's not as though they're not on notice of that.
Mhm.
And I think what you're trying to explain to me is you need time to explore whatever legal remedies or recourse you may have that would allow you some alternative to just demolition.
Correct. Or some grants. We were actually working with the city also to see if they can help us with some, because like I said, I think one company, they say that they will help us to elevate the property, which is going to be around 160,000. But besides
How
that,
much?
160,000.
How much did you pay for the house?
150.
But it was, yeah,
The
and
renovations around 50.
when the property was purchased, it already had a new roof, has new AC, but everything inside was pretty much like the floors, the bathroom, the kitchen cabinets were actually replaced. So everything was putting up to date. That was one of the main issues why there's a great investment on the property, and we're trying to avoid demolishing, which will be sad.
All right, well, good luck to you. I don't know what the answer is. All I know is that we will revisit this matter in 2 months.
March
And hopefully you'll-
March what?
hopefully
11.
you'll have
Okay.
found a solution.
At least it will give us definitely time to do the great research, especially because now most people are in the same situation than us. So, we expect to find some solutions by then. Thank
I
you.
suspect it's going to become more and more common. All right, good luck to you.
Appreciate
And
it.
if
Thank
nothing
you.
else, we'll see you on March 11th.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Case number 43, Greg Karpinski.
Good afternoon.
Hello.
Magistrate.
Just want to
I am Gregory Krapinski.
I just want to make a correction too. He was here in November, so it was continued from November.
You what now?
It was continued from November.
Okay.
Raise your right hand. Do you swear and affirm the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Okay, progress report. Ordered to be in compliance by March 5th. Well, this ain't March 5th, so what's the progress report?
Okay, as I continue to work on the house, removing the grime, dirt, rotten wood, restoring the back deck wood, painting it. As I expanded the work, I discovered more issues to be addressed. More rotten wood has to be replaced, actually. So I inquired at the city hall, at the licensing and permit division, whether or not I need a permit. I described the scope of work. They said yes. So I did apply for the permit to continue the work on the house. It's pending the review, so I'm waiting for the approval of my application for the permit to continue the work. In the meantime, I'm waiting for that permit. I'm maintaining the property outside, so it's much cleaner now and all that.
Okay. So how are we looking for March 5th?
Yeah. So we'll see what happens on March 5th. Yeah, but
Anything to add?
No, sir.
All right, good luck to you.
thank you.
Yeah, I'm sure once you start knocking away at it, you're gonna run into all kinds of stuff.
I know,
Anyway,
and that's what I've discovered.
well, I hope you don't have any more surprises.
It's an older house. It was built in 1947. Okay.
All right, good luck to you, sir.
Thank you. Bye.
And I believe that brings us to our last case, which is number 47, Barbara and James Chester Jones.
Yes, this property has been purchased by the city of Daytona. We would like to dismiss the order of noncompliance. Vacate the order of noncompliance and dismiss this case. We'll have to recite.
All right. Based upon the inspector's report, I'm going to dismiss case number SMG 11-23-257.
Thank you.
All right. You lost or late?
I was number 46 on the docket, so I thought I could
Okay. City, what do you want to do? I believe we.
If he's asking to be heard, it's proper for him to, I mean, he could ask that.
Come on up.
I know we've already handled the case, but, and I don't, oh, you were the inspector on that, so. Yes, sir. The inspector's present, so we're willing to.
Well, as I recall, we fined you $200 per day, up to a maximum of $20,000, because we thought you'd no-show this for starters.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, let's talk about Higdon International College Incorporated. Let me,
During the same set of
go back here. And
we have not adopted Robert's rules.
Jones is still here. Imposition of a fine. All right, refresh my memory, Mr. Inspector. Why were we fining this
Well,
respondent?
it's due to the length of the case and the continued non-work, I guess I could say, on the soffits and fascias that have been like that since the case originally opened. I know he had some work he had to do on the exterior walls, on the parking lot side, but we have had no movement on getting the rest
Are these
of the...
pictures the same property?
Yes, it's two sides of the building. It's the north side versus the south side.
So that's what?
That is the north side.
That's the north side. That's the south side?
That's the south side, which is almost complete. The south side was the part that I was actually hired to do.
There was a lot of structural work to do on that side of the building. Most of the actual columns and bond beams were completely deteriorated. The building was crumbling.
Okay.
So I had to do all the structural. As we opened up structural work, we found more structural work. It kept continuing the project. It kept making it longer and longer. I understand the city's concern is what it looks like from the outside because of the soffits. But
That means
that
the city's
isn't.
angst is the south side?
Well, right now it is.
Yes, when you look at coming down North Ridgewood, that's a view you see.
Yeah.
The first slide there, Joe. That, yeah.
That one, yeah.
Yeah, that's what you see driving down the road.
So that collapsed during the hurricanes in, I think it was 23 or 24. I don't remember which hurricane it was, but one of the hurricanes, that portion of the thing collapsed, and that's been exposed ever since.
Yeah, since 2023, that's the way the property has looked like on the.
And so what happened is the last inspection I had on the south wall, the inspector mentioned to me about the soffits. What are you going to do about the soffits? And I told him I'm just going to repair them as is. And he said that I was not allowed to do that, that I needed to get a separate permit for the soffits. So since then, we hired an architect to do the drawing for that permit. And that's where we're at now, is the architect is working on the drawing. He's not sure how to structure it because of the old structure versus the way he would normally do it. I'm trying to talk him into just letting us do it the way it used to be done, which is with rib lath, but he doesn't want to approve it that way. So he wants us to build an actual frame and then hang Dens glass off of it and then stucco the Dens glass. So the problem with that is that it would be prohibitively expensive.
So you've been working on the south side all along.
Yes, that's what I was contracted to do.
North side, nobody's been attending to.
Until
And now the city's tired of looking at the north side.
Correct. The north side was not something that the owners intended to do. It was hurricane damage that came up, and we have not gotten around to addressing it because we've been addressing that south wall, and it's been very expensive for them. They originally thought they were going to spend $120,000 on that south wall. They're up to about $220,000 on that south wall. So the financing has become an issue for them.
So what is the plan for the north side of the building?
We are, like I said, I have an architect that I've hired to draw up the plans to.
Before you even get that, I mean, is it to keep that basic appearance?
Yes, originally we were going to change that appearance, but now we're going to keep that appearance for cost saving purposes. So we're just going to fill in what's knocked out.
Mr. Kelly, can I ask, so you're contracted now to handle the north side as well?
I have not been contracted yet because I don't have a blueprint, and I don't like to give numbers without a blueprint. Because I can't give you a hard number on what I'm going to charge if you can't tell me exactly what I'm going to build. So we're still in the process of figuring out exactly how we're going to put the soffit back together. What I want the architect to do is just let me put up rib lath, which is the way it was originally done, and stucco it. But he doesn't want to do it that way. I may have to find another architect that will allow me to do it that way. What he's asking me to do is completely restructure the soffit, which is going to be very expensive, and I don't think they can afford it at this point.
Mr. Kelly, I just want to note that they were first
You know,
notified
the reality is regardless of what you've been hired to do, you haven't been hired to take care of all these violations.
As of this moment, that's correct. As of this moment, that's correct. It's not that the owners don't want me to take care of these violations. It's just that I don't have enough information to give them a price.
Well, but my point is that that topic hasn't even been solidified yet.
Correct.
And we're a year and a half down the road from the notice of violation saying that side needs to be fixed just like the rest of it does. I almost feel like, to be honest with you, you've been showing us a lot of smoke and mirrors on the south side, and we've been too dumb to walk around to the other side of the building and go, what about this? Until now.
I couldn't answer that question. I don't get the notices. Like, I don't have the notice that they filed, so I don't know exactly what's listed on it. I know there's landscaping and things like that that don't pertain to me. So I don't know. Is the soffit on the notice, sir?
Yes, it was on the original
Sure
notice.
is. I'm looking at it right now.
And we have presented these photographs every time we've come to
And
hearing.
soffit and
That's
fascia
correct.
board.
Yeah, that's correct.
Where are you on the south side of the building?
We are days from completion. We're literally days from
Okay,
completion. We can be
and
done by Friday.
Theoretically, once we're completed with the south side, then what?
Then we start on the soffits.
If they contract you to do that.
I need the blueprint. The bottom line is I need the blueprint.
I think the city's concern is now they're going to address it with an architect a year and a half later and do not know what the costs are going to be or if they're going to proceed.
Okay, I understand where you're coming from there, but the inspector didn't tell me I needed the architect until my last inspection, which I think you have the date of that there, with the date of the last inspection.
What we're talking about the trade inspector, not the code inspector.
Correct. I'm talking about the city inspector. When he was out looking at my last column that I had done, he asked me about the soffits. What are you going to do with the soffits? I said, I'm just going to repair them, and I don't need a permit for a repair. And he said, no, absolutely not. You are going to have to get a permit for that. And that was when I was first notified that I would need a permit to do the soffits.
Is the north side just the soffits, or is there more to be done in addition to soffits?
As far as the code violations, I believe the soffits are the only thing on the north side. Is that correct, sir?
I believe that's all that was noticed. I mean, I'm sitting here looking at a window that's boarded up on that photo, but that window was not cited on the original violation.
Okay.
But it was all exterior finishes, which...
What keeps you from just replacing or fixing that soffit right there?
Just that the inspector told me I wasn't allowed to. He said, don't do it without a permit.
Well, Mr.
Aren't you a contractor?
Yes. Normally, you can do a repair, technically a repair, without a permit. But it's subjective. The city can decide, the city inspector can decide, or this, I should say the chief building official can decide whether I need a permit or not.
It doesn't sound like it's a bad choice if the architect is not willing or doesn't agree that the best solution is, I mean, it's a cost, but also it's an architectural decision that says, hey, maybe that's not our best way to do this.
Right.
My concern as well, Mr. McKelvey, would be that we're hearing from this contractor as an agent for the owner, but is he really an agent for the owner as it relates to these things that we're trying to address? It sounds like he's not really an agent for the owner. I don't know. Have we ever heard from an owner?
No, I've had no communication. All my communication has been from the contractor, and I had not heard from him since the last hearing he attended.
Yeah,
and he was not contracted to handle the services necessary to get this into compliance.
They have been here for a couple of Zoom meetings. Unfortunately, they couldn't be here for this one because they were ill.
Okay, so they need a permit to repair the soffit.
Yes, sir.
And wouldn't just repairing the soffit be the quickest fix?
Yes, sir. If I did that now, if I did it and the inspector had never said anything to me, then they could get mad at me, but they couldn't do much else.
Well, it's such.
But now that he's already told me that I need a permit, he's definitely going to cite me for doing it without a permit if I do it. So I at this point, I have to have a permit. And then I went to the chief building official and I said, do I absolutely need a drawing for this? Because I said I could just replace it with riblath. And he said, I'm not comfortable with you replacing it with riblath, like you said. The chief building official's not comfortable with that either.
Okay, what are you saying, rib lab?
Riblath. It's just a wire mesh, and it has a rib in it to keep it stiff. And if you look at that soffit, it looks like it's solid, but it's really just a wire mesh with stucco smeared over the top of it.
I understand.
And I presume the fear said it can possibly
And that's
loose and be
what is there now?
Correct. Well, what's left up there is exactly that. It's riblath with stucco.
So you can't just replace it with what's already there?
That's what I thought. That to me that makes perfect sense because it's already there. I can replace it without a permit. But the inspector said no.
And when were you told that?
On the date of my last inspection, I could look it up real quick.
It would have been 12/20 was the last time the building inspector was there when he gave you the final approval.
Okay, yes, but that was final approval.
This is quite a lot of damaged area that I can understand why the building official is asking for it to be done to current code.
Right.
And that's what they're requesting. And that is not an unusual request with this much damage. When you've got of that soffit, you've got over 50% of it.
Correct.
That's damaged.
That's correct.
which would
Well, I
require.
understand that, but my point is, if this is a discretionary call,
No, it is not a discretionary call, as he's even checked with the chief building official and says that no, a permit is required.
Yeah.
That is required, that's not a
Well,
discretionary.
it is under the chief building official's discretion. He could change his mind.
Yes, the chief building official, per code, is allowed to change what is required per permitting. But for permitting.
and has done so by telling him,
Right.
we don't want you to just replace what's already there. We want you to do something different. And because we're choosing that option, you need to go get a permit.
No, that's not correct, sir.
Pardon?
It's just the opposite.
It's the opposite. A permit is required for what he wants to do. He went to the building official to see if he could get an exception to that requirement, and the building official said, no, I'm not granting you an exception.
All right, I'm lost. So, what can he do without a permit?
He would not be able to do that much replacement of the soffit and fascia without a permit.
When you say that much, that starts to sound discretionary to me. How much is that much?
Well, the building official the building inspector and the building chief building inspector has both said it's required due to the amount.
Okay.
And that should have been researched back in August of 2023 when the original violation was issued.
Okay, fair point.
Okay. What are we doing about the soffit on the north side?
I have contracted an architect to draw me the blueprints, and he is working on the blueprints.
And once he has these blueprints, then you're submitting a permit application.
That is correct.
Then once he has the permit application, if it gets approved, he has to finish the work for the permit to be final.
Correct, and I guess my concern is, as he has stated, he does not know whether the owner is even going to approve the expense to do this repair. So, I mean, we're back to it possibly being like this for a period of time.
Trying to find an artful way of saying this. I'm leaving the fine in place. Minutes will reflect, presumably, that if the owner decides to pursue the architect's plans, if the owner actually goes and gets the permit, and if the owner actually gets the work done,
Mm-hmm.
and I will take that into consideration when somebody asks me to grant them some relief from that fine. But as it stands,
Understood.
he's 100% correct. We're a year and a half down the road, and I've been thinking that we've been working our way toward, full compliance, and now I'm basically waking up to the notion that we've been dealing with half the building.
Correct. I was not.
And I'm not saying you misrepresented anything.
Okay.
That's my lack of attention, I guess. Because he is correct. For a year and a half, that's gone unattended. A year and a half, it's gone on unattended. So I'm leaving the fine in place. And if the owner takes it upon himself to get this thing corrected ASAP, I will take that into consideration when it comes to fine to be imposed.
Well, it will be a lien review at that point, since the fine is already in place, so.
Would probably be a lien review at that
Subsequent
point.
follow-up. He'd have a right to at least ask for a consideration of reduction or modification.
You know, if we weren't a year and a half down the, anyway, forget it, we are. So, never mind. I've said enough. 10-4.
Okay,
Good luck to you.
thank you.
Okay, now we done with everything? We have any miscellaneous business to be brought before the special magistrate?
No, I don't know, Eddie.
If not, we're adjourned.